Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Noel's Tarot. Looking at the wrong side. I was looking at the button to make sure it was pressed. But welcome to Noel's Tarot, and welcome to the reading. I was gonna say, imagine if I didn't press it. That happens, or it used to happen sometimes. I'd be like, whole reading, it wasn't recording. Anyways, welcome to the reading. This is gonna be your current and future energy reading. We're gonna be looking at the current and future energy between your current energy, what's going on with you right now, and then get a peek into the future so you can be prepared for it, be ready for it, know how to handle that transitionary energy shift thing between what's going on in your future and what's going on now. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get into that, and I will timestamp when that starts. I promise I will definitely have to. But yeah, thank you for showing up. Thank you guys for your continuous support, I want to say. If you go ahead and like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel, put on notifications, because the upload schedule is pretty normal-ish now, and I don't want to talk about it too much and jinx it. I should someone knock on wood for me. I'm just kidding. Does wood paneling count? I always say that. Anyways, we're on a normal schedule, so the notifications would be pretty cool, because sometimes there's lives, and hopefully in the future, sometimes there's like a random premiere, like a midweek reading. I was gonna say, I'm trying to think of that. Sometimes comes out, sometimes doesn't. But the weeklies are definitely set for sure. But other than that, I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh yeah, the reading we're doing today, just to at least so you know and you're aware, we're gonna be doing it with the Prism Oracle. Oh, we got determination on the bottom. Why can't I think of the first word? It's my favorite freaking movie. Gotta turn the world into your dance floor. Determinate. I'm a child. Good Disney movie. And then also clarifying with the Lenormand Oracle. I wanted to use this more because or at least I've been studying it. So, I mean, it's cool to be able to share it with you guys. So I'm just trying to learn it a little bit more. And this lady, and I did a pre-shuffle, so I haven't seen these cards yet. But she was a star of the last reading we just, or one of the stars of the last reading we just did. It was like a what's the vibe? I'll be posting at some point. But yeah, maybe check out that reading. I'll try to link it if they're both out. At around this time, whenever they're both out, I'll link it. But yeah, let's see. None of the usual stuff, but definitely if you're new, thank you for showing up. I hope you continue to stay. And if you are returning, how you doing? It's so good to see you. I mean that so much. For some reason, it felt a lot deeper that time. So something about that is just I'm glad to have known at least, that anyone who's here. And then it's like a train station. You come through, then you go through to what you need next. So it's just cool to see you when you do show, It's like one of those energies where I'm feeling where it's like you don't, what am I thinking? I'm thinking toxic relationship. That's like a random thing to come in through. That's not what I'm thinking with you guys. I'm thinking it's more really healthy, and it's like one of those things where it's when you're with your friends for a good time and you leave them for a long amount of time. It's like that's a healthy sometimes relationship because you're an individual and you're together. I say individual like this and together. Am I slow? Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and clear the energy with the incense. I just pulled this straight out of heaven. Did you realize that? Did you not just see me pull that out of heaven? Something about the energy feels light today, which I like. I'm trying to see which lighter to use because all these are freaking. I need a new lighter. I need a bunch of new lighters. But yeah. What I was gonna say was before we get into this reading, I did have a little message that I got beforehand, and I was gonna come do this reading anyways, but then the message came through so strong, and it doesn't normally I'll get an inkling to do a reading, and then I'll just do the reading by itself, and I'll be like, yeah, there's no messages, and sometimes there's a little bit of songs, a couple of words, but this one is a whole freaking message. So I pray the timestamp isn't too crazy looking because I'm gonna feel so dumb. But honestly, I'm not. I think that's good that we cleared the energy because I was kind of embarrassed. But anyways, so if you don't want to hear, it's gonna be not too long, but it's definitely not short. But I'm not gonna I'm not gonna do my granddad up here, and be here forever with this. But I'll run through it as quickly as I can. I'm trying to start now, quickly as I can. But if you don't want to hear all this, you can just click the timestamp, and then the reading will start exactly right there. But let me go ahead and get into it while the time don't look too bad. I say that as it goes into a new minute. I'm already embarrassed. I said don't look too bad, and the spirit was like, oh, "What'd you say?" And I corrected myself. Anyways, so let me explain what this kind of is. I was coming into this reading, and I was just it was like a couple of hours really before now, because it took me a second to write it. Then I had to continue what I was doing. But I was planting some new seeds and stuff, and I was just chilling, and maybe listening to music and whatnot. And then I had to go inside for something, and then like a whole thing happened where like when I sat down outside, I didn't even listen to music for a second. I was just sitting there in the moment. I was like, this was weird, because it was just very synchronistic, and at the same time when I thought it out, because at first on the surface, funny enough, on the surface it was very cool, but then once I like sunk in and I thought about it a little more, took it within to think about it, a lot came out of it. So let me go ahead and just get into that. What would I say? I did section it off, so like that's a good thing, because the fact that I sectioned it off means that I know how to run through it fast, because I know what I'm saying at least, because a lot of it made sense. But there's a lot written here. I'm gonna show you literally the freaking. Can you see that? Is that possible? The first page and the back page. I was like, my initial goal was to just go through half a page. So embarrassed. And then not only did I have a front page and back page, but there's like another tidbit on the freaking other side, other page here. But that's literally where it ends. It's okay. I'll go ahead and run through this. The other day I set myself a timer, and then when it went off, I was feeling so embarrassed each time it went off. It went off like 3 times. I was like, oh shit, let me just go ahead and not do a timer this time. Who knows? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. We'll see how I feel once we get into a certain mark. Anyways, let me go ahead and start reading what I wrote. And I guess I can tell more of the story. What happened basically, I needed something that I had to go inside the house to get. Let me read these in a section so it's actually a little bit more concise. So I was outside, chilling, and I needed an item basically. So sorry if I don't give you too many details. I want to just make it as like clear as possible. But I needed an item, and I had to go inside the house to go get it. I think it was and did I do it? I did not. It's okay. I'm embarrassed, collective. But since I've been gardening so much, there's just so much literal dirt under my fingernails. It's not like scratching my face kind of type of dirt. It's literal dirt in my fingernails, from like the earth. So I was looking for a literal fingernail thingy to clean it out, and I didn't find it. So that's part of the story, but you can see where that led to. Don't look at my fingers, guys. It's embarrassing. Not me with like jewelry and then nasty nails. I'm so stupid. Okay, so I had to go in the house to go get the item. And so let's see. That was the first. That was the first part of it. And within that, I basically said, this is when I had to go within. Let's see here. At the same time, I was also I have some other notes. I was also lazy and reluctant, and I even tried to use other tools. I think mostly with what's going on in this first part is like I'm reading out to you like what happened, and then like the in parentheses, some of these are like afterthoughts of like what I felt like that was like representing, if that makes sense. So I need to go inside of the house to pick up an item, and so what that represented was me going within. Does that make sense? I'm gonna try to read through most of this at least. So then also an inner thought was that I was also lazy and reluctant to go get it, but like I was even looking for other tools, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just go ahead and do the reading, so I can just complete my task that I'm doing, and so I can just find the tool later and just be done with it, so I can hurry up and move from point A to point B. I was trying to like hurry up and move on, but it was like no, you can't do that. So because like every tool I was trying wasn't working, and then for some reason, not only was it not working, but I also just like I felt like I needed that specific tool. So I was like, oh shit. So I got up and I went inside the house. Next part is I went in and I looked in every spot that I knew that I left it. I looked in every spot that I knew that I usually leave stuff. So I dumped out all my bags too. I overturned all the drawers, and still it was nowhere to be seen. That tool, I couldn't find it. So going with my inner thoughts was like going within. When I go within, there may be roads or paths that seem like familiar, nostalgic probably, and like this is probably like it feels like a bit of like a general message in a sense, but like there are roads that might be familiar and nostalgic that you're feeling right now, And so it's like, because when I went in, I looked in every spot that I knew. So I was like, I know where I'm going. I'm like, I know it's usually in this pocket, this bag, this drawer underneath that, you know. But I wasn't. Let's see. That has that familiar nostalgic vibe. It also feels like in remembrance, which I think is like what they put on some of the Bibles. I can't remember if that's correct, but someone tell me if that's correct. Or like not a Bible, but I don't know. It's on something. And then I also said to remember. So to remember. So it's like the action of remembering. Thinking of I can't say. Oh Jesus Christ! Mercury's not even in retrograde. We're in the shadow though. A remember all from Harry Potter. His first or second one, I think. The first one probably. The movie and the book. I'm trying to remember where I was. Okay, so the last one also was that retracing steps. Familiarity helps. But also when I said there's nowhere to be seen, when I couldn't find it, nowhere to be seen, it feels like physically seeing or physically seeing or the action of like internally seeing something. So because there was nowhere to be seen, it gives me the energy of like I couldn't physically see it, but also I couldn't internally see it, which is intuition, third eye, intuition. That's that feely type of see. And so like I couldn't even feel the presence of it. Like it was literally like lost. Even when I couldn't see it, I went to my third eye and I'm like, okay, Lord, where is it? I'm looking for like I'm using my intuition. Where is it? And the Lord was like silent. He was like, I'm not there. There's no tool to find. So I literally had to like make my own sort of decision in that. So the next part, the last part of this first section is, I just resigned and I released it. I let it go. That was difficult because that was my perfect tool. That's my perfect tool. It's like, that's funny. Yeah, it was difficult to release because it was the perfect tool, but it was easy because I knew I was headed back outside, to my comfort areas and like back to my music and all that. But still, I grabbed a few things that might have worked. And on the way, I ran into my niece, and it was a light and fun interaction. We talked and laughed. I was even able to check in on her and ask her where she was hanging out. So I even got information, and it was like nice and good to the heart and stuff, you know. She's always just goofy and fun. Um, so my inner thoughts on this, when I said I resigned and released, it was like a release and gather, or release and receive, like when you let something go, you get something. And release and gather, I said, because that's one of the definitions in the Lenormand. I believe it's for the scythe, number 10, and that's about like Knight of Pentacles, clearance of the now, making room for the new. And you have to let things go in that sense. And so that's what I got from that a bit. And I also got pain that's in release, pleasure that's in pain and release, and pleasure in gathering or receiving. Okay, so yeah, so there's pain and release, but there's pleasure in the gathering. But then now I'm also thinking there is pleasure in the release as well, and pain in the gathering too. So like I'm thinking you can let things go and feel pain and pleasure, and you can receive things, feel pain and pleasure. It's like it's a balance of both. But specifically, at least on the forefront, there's pain that's in the release, and there's pleasure that's in the gathering and receiving. So you have to have faith for that pleasure to come forth. Um, I also I found other tools because I found other tools that would work. So I found other viable tools, and I even I found other tools that I could utilize, other things I could utilize that would help, even in a time where like my perfect tool wasn't there. I still found other things that worked, right? Um, and in a sense, you learn new. Like sometimes you don't even know about the tools that you have in that sense. So it's like it's like there's still more of that double energy, balance energy. You learn new things and you find tools that you already had, but they work too. And at the same time, all while I was gathering that, I also received like a time and space, a pocket of time and space, like a moment where I was with a loved one or an inner child, and I was with my niece, but in my inner thoughts, I was like generally just a loved one for you guys, or like your inner child specifically. Um, and it was an interaction that brought me joy, and it wouldn't have existed for me if I had not chosen to go within in the first place. Like that moment would not have happened if I didn't even get up. I would have I think in that time, on some other timeline, I would have been in my car already doing the reading, you know? I would have been, fuck it, I'm just gonna go do it. Um, and I wouldn't have we wouldn't be here talking about this conversation. So there's just so much in that, you see what I mean? So it was really cool. It was really cool to me because before I wanted to go in there, I was like, what the fuck? Where's my tool? And I was like, I'm fucking lazy. I'm just gonna sit outside and finish eating, drinking, chilling and whatnot. And instead, I was like, all right, I'll just go get it. And I said I'll go get it. I was more so physically lazy, but something inside of me was telling me to just go get it. So I did. And it was stupid and random, but it actually felt very cool. So on this next section, and what I'm going to do actually now, let me look at that thingy. What I'm going to do now is actually set myself a timer real quick. Because I'm going to run through this bit like it's the lightning round in Family Feud. I think a fair time to say because, because it is the current and future, only 2 cards, really. I think a fair number to say is 50. This is going to be an embarrassing timestamp. Anyways, I'm not embarrassed. I'm feeling confident. That's when you know I'm feeling scared, when I say I'm feeling confident. All right. So what was really cool was I noted 2 things that were really cool, and it's funny because there's a balance. Let me show you. Here's the first one. You see that? Here's the first one. That little dash. If you can see that dash, it's 1 sentence. Here's the second one. No, we're not done. Here's the second point. The second point literally took up 2 more pages, whereas I wanted to explain it in 1 sentence, but I couldn't. Because I had to explain it to myself on paper and in my mind, and then putting it on paper, and then then it made sense, a lot of it. But the first one, it's just funny how it correlates and synchronizes with what I'm actually writing. But that's probably just because it's on my mind, so I'll keep moving on. The first point that I noted that was cool about the whole story was the amount of re's. So I think I was like retracing steps, remembering. There's a couple more I saw. Retracing steps, remembering, remembrance. That's the same word. Reluctant, that came out earlier. Receive, that came out later. And that's funny too, because I was reluctant before and then I received later. So yeah, that's the same thing. But there's just a lot of re's in here, and I don't know. We talked about re before, but I forget what I said about it. I remember like the R was 18, I think, and 5 for E, so 9 and 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 5. I can only think of a job, but now I think of the musical by Dolly Parton. I don't know, jobs, roles. That can more so I feel like that fits into. So like your role, your structure in something. So I don't know. There's a lot of re's, and re's are just about doing things again. So like I don't know, like your job you do over and over again, but at the same time you do it differently at the same time. So there is that balance in it too, and there's that 9 and 5. There's something about that. But I'll move on because that's not the one that took up 2 pages. But just the amount of re. So something about like doing something again or because I can't say doing something over again or redoing something to define because that's just not fair. I'll have to look it up. Later, and then I'll bring it to you guys, and you'll see it in the next one. Actually, write that down so I don't forget because I forget the most important things, and people are like, "You forgot," and I'm like, "It's just because I'm me. It's not because of you." I'm sorry. All right. Anyways. Technical. Okay, yeah. This is energy that's been coming up a lot, and I couldn't figure out how to define it until now. But I was able to put it on paper in the best way I knew how now, and I wanted to sort of explain it because it's been coming up a lot. Where like it's an energy of balance, where it's like I'll just go ahead and start because that's what it says on the side, balance. And who can explain it better than the one who wrote it down an hour ago? Where should I start with this one? Technical, personal. Elements. In the last reading, and that was What's the Vibe. So I don't know if you saw that. So again, that might be important to check out. But in that What's the Vibe, something was discussed. Elements towards the end where it was like it's really interesting. I was like, it's really interesting that like on some levels like air and fire are masculine elements, and then water and earth are feminine. But on other levels, like air, fire, water, like the mind, the soul, and the emotions are feminine because they're within you. But then earth is physical, so it's external. So like how in the hell does earth become masculine? A masculine element of the external, and how the hell do 3 signs jump into the inside? I was so confused. Like I wasn't confused. It made sense. It makes sense on like the level, the surface, because like, oh yeah, that because it made sense why I was like, oh, because externally, and then your mind and your heart and your soul are in your, like, you can't touch them. That makes sense. But also, like, air and fire being masculine is because they're external. Water and earth are receptive, right? They're receptive. They take in. Earth receives water. Water receives like the shape that it's within. It's like very receptive. It's also, they're both very deep. They have depth to them. They go below the surface. You can go below the water. You can see the surface, but you don't see everything that's underneath. And with earth, you can see the top, but there's a lot of probably a lot that you're standing on. But things like that. But air and fire makes sense because there's no depth to them. It's just like fire is fire. You see what you get. Air is air. You really don't see it, but it is what you get. You know what I mean? So like it made sense. And I was still pissed because like that don't make no sense that there's two. Why are there two ways that it works? Anyways, I'll just go ahead and start what I wrote. Here's what I like to call. This is what this is where I would say like where the technical goes to personal, and let me start by saying that like this is what I would call maybe like a little balance of technical versus personal. And what I wrote is because it's almost like a need versus a want, and I'll do you guys a favor if I can. I'll take a picture and post it so that it can be read as well. But hopefully, I don't know how this camera works. Well, I do know how it works. That's funny because that's what we're saying. I do know how it works, but I don't know how it's going to work in this situation. And that's exactly what I'm saying with a lot of this. So keep that in mind. It's almost kind of like a need versus want, I said. I hate to keep stopping the reading, but it's like how something is, and then what it like becomes based off like what happens, what it decides. Like it's a nature nurture thing. But then I said the energy in everything has a need and it has a want. The sun needs power to exist, but it also wants other planets around. It can exist without the planets, but it does not exist without power. Chairs need wood, metal, or plastic, those type of elements to exist, to be here, but they also want people to sit in them or to add character, to add depth, to add life or meaning beyond the life that it started. Technical aspects are needed, personal aspect, and so that I say it was technical versus personal. The technical aspects are what's the need is, and then the personal aspects are what the wants are. Technical refers to what defines the existence, what it is. What It Is by Amber Mark. I'm sorry, guys. She sneaks up on me all the time. And when she does, I'm like taken aback. My heart is just like, oh, I love her. That's a song by Amber Mark if you want to go check that out. If you're a new visitor, that's probably you're like, oh, okay. But if you're a returning visitor, you're like, oh, shut up, Shamar, about stupid Amber Mark. She's so good. Listen to her, guys, please. That was my inner child. That music is nice. It's just a random example because I literally talk about music this passionately, but like when I've listened to it for years, like some of the music I listened to for years, like randomly Glee, maybe I'll be like, I freaking love Glee. With her, I talk about her the same way. It's freaking crazy. I don't know why she's so good. Anyways, where was I reading? Oh yeah, technical. The need is what refers to what defines the existence, what it is. Personal refers to what expands it, what gives it life or real life, so like 2D, turn it into 3D. Previously tried to find out the balance of the elements and how, I talked about this, how air and fire masculine, water and earth is feminine. Yet in our esoteric understanding, right, and how naturally it happens that air and fire are earth and naturally water and earth are feminine. But then in our esoteric understanding, how we understand esoteric, the mind, body, soul, all that type of stuff, we then fitted air, fire, water being feminine, and then because it's within, and then earth is masculine because it's externally, it's outside. It's wacky because naturally the balance is set 2 elements masculine, 2 elements feminine, but then the balance is thrown off when I try to match it to our physical experience. So when you try to throw the 2 masculine, 2 feminine into our experience, it doesn't really jive with our experience, more so because then that would be putting your mind and your soul on the outside, and that the air and fire on the outside, mind and soul, and I'll be putting the earth and the water, your emotions and the physical things all clumped up inside of you. And that for some reason, even though earth and water go together, for some reason it just sounds like like a petri, like a mold. It sounds like water and earth that's growing inside of a body. So it's like it's growth that shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? And growth that shouldn't be there is also like a definition. I don't want to say of cancer, so I don't know. Because I don't. That's a very sensitive topic, so I don't know if anyone's dealing with that. But that's what I would say. It's like just that anomaly, like not the growth is not supposed to be this type of energy. Unless you want a petri dish in your body, that's up to you. Where am I? Yeah, when I try to match the balance of but then it's wacky because naturally the balance is set to masculine, to feminine of the elements. But then the balance is thrown off when I try to match it to our physical experience. In theory, or without the life or the life experience or the experience of life, masculine air and fire with feminine water and earth makes sense because I don't know, earth and water, air and fire being masculine and feminine, putting those two there, what I said is it differentiates. It gives you that contrast, that basic understanding. It gets you like the root hold of like what's the difference between these two things, like boys and girls, positive, negative. Like it contrasts so you can understand those two things and define it. That's what I wrote down. It's a natural definition in a sense. But then when you give it life and you allow it to move on its own, when you give it life and you allow it to move on its own, it becomes autonomous. It becomes uncontrollable by you. But at the same time, it becomes free-willed. It feels like Sagittarius, even though we're not in that season right now. But it feels like Sag and a bit of Capricorn. But it just feels like a horse running free. Giving me Labyrinth right now, the artist. Let's see. So now, in this sense, with our physical experience, air and fire, both air and fire, slide to the feminine team, and earth joins the masculine team. So it's like it's like you threw them in a bag and shook them up, and then that's wherever they landed, they landed. But it's not like that because it feels more so. I don't know how it feels honestly. I'm just gonna keep reading. The masculine team. How is this balance held? Where now you have air, fire, and water on one team and earth on one. I don't know. I don't know how this balance is held. But what I do know is that I feel. What I do feel, I said, what I do feel is that if masculine is surface, like the masculine on our level 3D experience, if the masculine is now the surface, it's the earth. It's the body, the external. Feminine is now beneath, it's within. Sorry. If masculine is surface and it's a surface level on the top, and feminine is beneath and it's within, then air and fire move to feminine to go beneath or gain depth, no longer be shallow or surface. So like in that sense, it's like air and fire where they were both masculine, they were external. Instead, they moved to the feminine team of being your mind and your soul. So they went within. So when they switched, they went within you, and it's sort of like they did that in a sense to go beneath, to gain depth, to go deeper, to no longer be a surface thing, but actually be a deeper thing. So the masculine version of you may be moving into that side. So it's going within, thinking, doing soul searching, trying to gain depth, go beneath, no longer be a surface level thing, but actually have, deep roots in something. And ironically enough, I said Earth moved. So Earth moved over, and it's funny. I know Earth moves, but it's not the Earth. It's not the actual dirt that's doing the moving, guys. Y'all know that? It's like the amalgamation of space and all that shit, and gravity and all that shit, and pulls and all that. So, pushes and pulls, all that. What I'm saying is that yeah, don't look at the sentence. Look at what I'm saying. I'm saying, and ironically enough, Earth moved while water stayed still. Cause I feel like I keep hearing like and maybe no one's actually saying it, but I'm just hearing it because I'm like insulting myself in a sense while I'm reading it. It's a really weird thing to say, but it's like I said Earth moved, and then I hear in my brain it's like, well, who in the Earth don't? Of course, Earth moves, and I was like, no, but like Earth, the Earth element moved over, and Earth doesn't really move. Anyways, Earth moved while water stayed still. Earth is normally you guys see why I wrote this? Because if not, everything else would be exactly what those last tangents were, and that would be the whole time. Earth moved while water stayed still, ironically enough. Because Earth moved over to the feminine side and water just stayed right where it was. So in that sense, I saw that Earth moved and water stayed still. Now, Earth is normally stable and unmoving, while water flows and moves. That's what it naturally is defined as. But in this example, they almost switch jobs. So that's what I see. Earth and water switch jobs, so they switch roles, and that's that 9 to 5 energy that we were jobs and roles. I forgot about that. I didn't think about the two things when I was doing it, but it's funny now that I'm seeing it. Um, so Earth and water switch jobs or switch roles. So instead of Earth being the still one, it's moving now, and instead of water being moving, it's still. I see that's what the time we're at now. So let me just go ahead and wrap that up and make sure what would be a good one. I'll say. Ooh, that's gonna be weird for you guys. Anyways, so this is like this is a mix of a current and future, and also just a bit of a story time. But there's a timestamp, so you guys have a choice for sure. Let's see. So yeah, Earth is Amazon while water flows and moves. So they switch jobs. So Earth and water switch jobs and switch roles. While instead air and fire switched teams entirely because they picked up and moved to an entirely different team with masculine and feminine. You see what I'm saying? So whether by force or by choice, I wasn't sure on which. It could be one or the other. Like one was forced to move over, one had a choice to do it. You know, one needed to, one wanted to. I didn't really go into that because that's another thing. And that's what I'm going to call this section, my little rabbit hole section. I'm going to find a title that makes it, that's like, that and still look cute. I'll find the need and wants of that sentence, make it technically correct, and then personally make it cute. But like fun to read. That's what I mean by cute. But what am I reading here? Yeah, whether by force or by choice, I can't tell. That they switch teams and jobs, I wasn't sure about that, but I definitely feel that in doing so, both sides learn something as individuals and as a whole because of the team and the role aspect I was telling you about, because of the teams that were switched, and because one switched just the jobs and individually. It's like both sides learn something as individuals, and both sides learn something as a whole. And now that they did, they can use that real experience instead of just sharing experience that they know because of what they are, who they have been. They can share experience that they've lived, that they've moved through, that's unique to them individually, unique to them specifically, and it's new experience that's not created already. You're creating it, so now you also have this experience to share. One side can share while one side listens and learns from the other, and then vice versa, but back and forth. But at the same time, both of them share the fact that they grow from it. So it's feeling very Venn diagram is what I would say too. Thank you is what is one picture that I can give you. I'm scrambling for stuff to be like, I hope this like, resonates a bit or makes sense at the very least. But yeah, one can share, but while one grows from it, and to bring this back to the root, where this all came from, technical versus personal. There was a lot of technical versus personal in this in this story about the perfect tool that I was looking for. I think what I wrote it down was I resigned and released it, let it go. Difficult because it was my perfect tool. That's the technical part of it, but it was easy because I knew that I was headed back to my comfort areas. And the balance in that was the personal. That was what meant something to me. It was because something that was like, oh, okay, you know what? I can't find this perfect tool, but you know what? I'm going back to sit down and chill anyway, so I could find a balance and not get too upset, not get too. That's how you keep that balance, I think. So this might be what you're talking about a bit, like keeping the balance when you feel angry or frustrated, or even when you feel really happy, to like temper that, to humble that. You know what I mean? And that's sort of like what you should do in most situations. Is like when you're in one, reach for the other. Technical versus personal. And also, yeah, technical versus personal has been coming up a lot in this channel. So this story and it coming into play with technical versus personal, it's like I really have to probably talk about technical versus personal now, because that balance comes up a lot, and I think I want to use it, but I have to explain why it means so much to me. And it's just because this example with the elements and how like they're they're balanced and then they're not balanced. But because they're not balanced, they learn balance, and it goes back and forth. It's fun, and I think that's what happens a lot in the human experience. Um, but here's the last part of the story, and it's where the not be running out of the timer. Here is where the personal goes right back to technical. So we went from technical to personal. Um, and now this is where we're going back from personal to technical, and it's how the cycle continues to move, like the healthy cycle continues to move. I think like a healthy cycle of learning in that sense, feels very page energy, which is funny because I'm literally reading pages, and this page fell out while I was freaking writing it. I was like, what the hell? And if I call it this last section where the technical becomes the personal, where like when the needs become the want, when like you have what you need and now you're trying to search for deeper meaning in that personal. Um, this section is also called, this new one is called where the 10 becomes the 1. So like when you've completed something, now when you go start back to like the 0 or the 1, you have to learn more. The last section I would call where the 1 becomes the 10, where you're at the start and then you complete a section where you get that depth, that full depth to it. So, sorry, I should say that real quick. This section, this last one that we're reading right now, is where the 10 becomes the 1. So where you completed it and where you can drop off that weight of the 0. You can drop off the weight of the journey. It even looks like a man wearing like a little backpack. This little 10. I don't know. You can't really see it, but even think of the number 10 by itself. I don't know if you can. It's probably not focusing on the page, but that's okay. It's like the 1 and 0 also like a do with the backpack. And you sort of drop that weight, and that's how you release to a new journey. But it says in this section, now that this makes somewhat sense to me, doing the burping thing, now that this makes sense to me, naturally, I develop another question. I see the 2-2 balance, and I go to 3-1, 2:2 balance, like the dot dot, like the first half of a smiley face. Not the equal sign. I hate equal sign for smiley faces. No, I don't. I'm not really. I don't deeply hate them, but surface level I do. I wonder how that balance works. How does I wonder how the 2-2 balance goes to 3-1. Two signs, masculine, feminine, and now you got 3 feminine, 1 masculine. Like how does that balance work all together and live in the same freaking universe? Um, how does a car drive with 2 tires on each side one day, and then the next day that bitch got 3 on one side and 1 on the other? Do y'all see that working out? That's what I was confused about. But they all driving on the road. Imagine it, but it's driving. It's a driving car with 3 wheels on one side, 1 on the other. If a car comes out like that, y'all know who to say created it. Y'all know who to say inspired it. I'm raising my hand. So anyways, I wonder how that balance works. So how is the balance here? I ask, and why in general too, because I also ask why about everything. But I ask, like, how is that here? That doesn't make sense to me. Let's see. Well, to answer those questions, I literally wrote how it happens, these are the answers I don't know, and that's exactly, and I don't know if I even know any of them, but these are the answers I can't really tell because I would have to experience going through the seeking, right? So this is exactly how it works, where it's like you have the information, now go deeper. All right, you got that deep, now come back up and lighten the load and figure out what's next to learn. So that's how I feel like flow up and downs works in that sense. I'll do this one because I'm feeling bad. I'm so sorry about that freaking time step. If I look at the time technically now, what would be the best idea in my brain? Let's do. You know what? Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So how does the balance happen? I'm this is me just guessing. So the human Shamar, just guessing. How one maybe one of them becomes lighter. So maybe the earth element, instead of or maybe not earth, it would be the other 3 because they're all set in a section. So the heavier section, tries to become lighter, while the lighter section tries to become heavier. And so it's like that. And they, through temperance of trial and error and experience, that process, they try to balance out. And maybe the internal becomes lighter and the external becomes a bit heavier, a bit stronger. So you work and you physically exercise your outer body, and then on the inside you exercise it by lightening the load, by processing and then releasing and stuff like that. Very mindful, very keeping it light within and not letting your inner get too worked up and stressed, but then really strengthening your outer body maybe. So that was like that was one guess. There's probably a million answers for that. But then for the why, like why is it happening? I wrote that down and then I realized that we answered it kind of the whole time. It's like you and that you find, that's how we say we find answers by seeking. Why is it happening? I say it's to strengthen us as everybody as individuals, but then also to strengthen people as a whole. You know, that's what balance does. And then to learn and to share is another thing it gives us, to be able to learn and share, like be able to have experiences that we can share with other people who don't have that, fill their cup, and then they can fill ours with their experiences as well. And then in that sense, we can draw each other in to connect, because you're sort of looking for a new experience or you're looking to learn more. Then you energetically attract those people who are willing to give theirs and have like the same mindset, you know, and that helps grow stronger, like-minded communities, I would say. You know, even whatever that mind is like, they're like-minded. I did not say it had to be a group of light healing. It could be a group of freaking wacko. And hopefully it's not. Hopefully y'all are all. I mean, not wacko. I wouldn't say that word specifically. Damn it, Mercury retrograde got me saying stuff. I feel like Mercury retrograde, I just attributed it to like alcohol or something. Damn it, alcohol got me saying. Damn it, Mercury retrograde got me drunk. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, it draws back in to connect. And it the other thing that's here for the why, like why is this balance here? It's like it helps us to not only exist, not only like literally be here as like, I guess what would I say, not statues, mannequins, 9 to 5 drones, like some stuff like that. Like it, instead of just being here and just like existing as what the definition of what a human is, like get up, eat, work, go back to sleep. It helps us to live and experience. It causes not only to be, you know, but to be what we want to be. And I think that's the biggest thing about all of that. This is a lot of being who you want to be, making your choices, experiencing things that you want to do and choose, not just experiencing like your fate and like the things that were chosen for you, but experiencing things that are for you. But it's very internal, where it's like you feel it in your gut, your soul. You can't exactly see the path, but it's the path you're making, and that hurts too, because like you have to go on a path where no one's gone before, so you have to experience things people haven't gone through before. So sometimes, again, it's double edged. Sometimes it just might be hard. You might feel alone, but sometimes people act like they're like, oh, I know this, I've been through this, I know you, or not I know you, but I know this, I've been through this, I can reflect. And it's like, well, some parts they can, that's true, like on the general level, on the technical level, but on the personal level, some of these things are very unique to you, and you know what those are. And it's like some things they just can't relate to, like maybe like the general level, like the general, like, oh, like maybe if it's like an alcohol thing, maybe like I'm not even like ragging on alcohol because it's cool, or everything's cool really, whatever, or not everything, I do have a limit there. It's like me personally, I have a limit, but technically, you know, I'm just like, you know, whatever's, if you're safe and if you're safe and happy, whatever, not whatever, but be happy is what I'm saying. But what I'm saying in that example, like with alcohol, is like, they like if they struggle with like with the problem with alcohol, it's like this is different now. It's not just a struggle with alcohol. It's like a struggle with like connecting to something, and it's like, I don't know, the root and the surface, right? The surface, on the surface they might understand it, but to the root they don't. So that's why it's different. And not the timer going off then. I had a little other section. I'm just looking through it real quick, because we're gonna start the reading real soon, I promise you. I'm sorry for everyone who's been here for fucking 40 minutes. Why do I talk for that long? That's a goddamn reading. I said I'm done. What the fuck? I'm so sorry, guys, but at least it's not too dark, and knock on wood, like, again, I'm counting it, wood paneling, please. Let me read this real quick, because I can't read and talk at the same time. I got the info already. I knew how to operate. Technical is set and fixed. Obvious with objective nature of things. So something we had to tech. Personal discussion. Tech is what we already knew. Personal is what we want to know. Personal is the deep religious saying the experience. So how with a deep understanding I can continue the story, feeling compelled to end the continuation. We moved back from personal and technical, deep understanding, but now there are more things that are present, and we're back to trying to get more basics. Asking questions, learning the natural balance. Very cool. Universal balance happening in real time. Yeah, that was more like an inner thought where I was like, oh well, I was reflecting about the freaking what I was writing, and in the writing I'm already reflecting about something. That's hell no. But and that's good because I kind of already explained that sense, and basically how it's a cool balance, how like in real time, even with what's happening with what I'm reading, it's like there's a balance already between what something needs versus what something wants. Which I didn't listen to it, but I was supposed to. I was like, damn it, freaking Drake's and whoever else is in that song. The song wants and needs. You know, so I feel like if you know a song, you know it because it's a really specific sound. That's what Drake is, a specific sound. I forget the whole song now though, but I listened to it so much. It has that blue album cover. I know Spotify gets all blue and it's like a dark blue. The whole room turns blue when that song comes on. I can't think of the words now though. That's okay. It's probably not meant for me. But y'all, if you've heard it, that's probably an important song. But it is a blue album cover, and blue has been one of the colors that's been important to the collective right now because it's been sort of hiding as a color, which is cool because I've just been challenging it to come back out. I guess what would connect those two pieces between what I'm about to say is that one of the biggest things about it is like 2D is very understand it, see it, know what what it's defined as. But in 3D, that like when something becomes instead of just being technical and it moves to personal, it's like you're connecting now. So it's no longer like I know what this is on an opposite sides, but now I have to put them two together. What does that make me feel? How do I feel? How do I understand? You know, not just what does it look like on the outside, but how do I feel about it? How can I personally understand it instead of just understanding it on everyone's level? How do I get it on my own? Which is cool because that's exactly what I think the difference between spirituality and religion is. So that might be another thing. I didn't think about that before, but that might be another thing. Where religion is could be technical, and spirituality is very personal. But I won't talk about that now because it's a whole other 40 minutes that I don't have time for. Because if I did, I would have come out when it was brighter. Let me see. Just making sure I don't forget anything. Technical and personal balance. Sometimes I feel like Spirit's pulling thoughts out of my head when he wants me to shut up. But anyway, or when they want me to shut up. That's the first time I called Spirit he. I usually call him she. Or something like that. Or just Spirit. Non-binary. Anyways, I see anxiety, rest, creativity, and ghost. None of those cards say anything to me yet. But yeah, I was gonna say to connect those. Yeah, we're talking. There we go. We're talking about in that just like the idea between like the difference between like when you move up a level instead of just knowing what it is. Now you can connect to it. Now you can understand it, and it's very cool because the connecting, communicating, right. Communicating is another part of that because it's like you can learn it and intake it, but at the same time, if you eat food and you never like digest it, you never go pee, you never go poo, you know, all that's just gonna build up, and that's literally that earth and water 2D balance. So it's like you're almost stuck in 2D and you're not able to move forward and release to become a 3D object. So it's it sort of makes sense in that way where it's like you're sort of stuck in a those are dimensions. I'm not going to talk about how the album by Amber Mark that I keep referring to, like every song I almost keep referring to, is from an album called 3 Dimensions Deep. I ain't going to talk, that's called 3D, and we just talked about that. But, that's hilarious, Spirit. Maybe that's Spirit's call to that we're done talking about Amber. Maybe not. You'll find out if you stay tuned. But communication, was what we were talking about, and communication is important. Because communication is how we then connect, how we release it, how we let it go, how we share, connect, and how someone is then able to receive it and then be like, oh, that you actually did that. That's pretty unique. I've never heard of that. And then they can give you them, and it's just very interesting because then communication, apparently, according to the Prism Oracle book, communication. I have to say, because in my brain, this is going to be one of the craziest timestamps I've ever freaking had. I'm sorry, guys. In the Prism Oracle book, they refer to the color blue as being one of the colors of communication located in the throat chakra, stuff like that. Yeah, Blue is also correlated with the throat energy center, which governs communication. So it's very cool because communication is what is the key that gets you to this 3D, how it gets you to the physical, how, and you can even think of physical as like money, the bag, time, energy. Communication is your key to receiving all of those things. And maybe because it's been missing, communication has been, maybe that's been the big message overall. Like if there's been little messages here and there, the big message overall that blue not being here is that communication is missing. Communication is lacking in balance as well. Even communication is lacking in, if we're talking about balance, we're also talking about, we've also been talking about within. So it's been lacking in proper processing, proper thinking, proper filtering, proper. You haven't let it go on its proper path down where it, like, go through the mind, go through your, not even specifically, but you haven't. It's just almost like maybe not even you haven't, but just in general, the collective. Like it's just almost like there's been like an issue with communication. And fear is another interesting card that hasn't been showing up too. So maybe there's no fear involved. Maybe you're not afraid to communicate. Maybe it's just like an issue with like not knowing how to communicate or what to communicate. I see sadness, so maybe not knowing how to communicate your sadness. I see stop, not knowing how to, and then confidence. Stop was red, and so it was red, black, and blue. That feels like Spider-Man to me for some reason. So maybe feeling you have to be like a neighborhood hero. You feel like you have to be like a hero within like your like a group of people in a sense. So like their problems are more important than yours, or their sadness is more important than yours, which is not true because again there's balance. So I was about to say figure it out, but that was gonna be really rude of me. I meant to be like try to go through experience, trial and error, figure out how to work that balance out so that you're expressing your sadness. And also, still helping out, still being there for other people. I just saw cleanse and magic. So yeah, that's exactly the cleansing and magic you need for sure. So goofy as hell. Timestamps are right. We're gonna get into your current and future energy. I picked the spread with here's what Mercury. I picked the spread with 2 cards. I'll say just to make sure it was light. But Mercury retrograde has been hitting me with the balance of stuff so much. I don't know why. I don't know where it's been located for its retrograde. Someone tell me, or I'll look it up. I've been saying someone tell me a lot, and I want to just throw that, y'all. But Mercury retrograde, or maybe cool to look it up. The balance of stuff. I keep saying book versus deck, or deck versus book. I keep saying the words that come in the past, and if you like the point 1 and 2, the 2 subjects of the thing, I keep switching the subjects. It's so annoying. But anyways, current and future energy reading. We're doing this with the Prism Oracle. I forget what I was saying before. Maybe it's not important. If it is, I'll just put it in the comments. Yes. Let's go ahead and see what we got with the Prism Oracle to start with your current energy and see where you are now with the overall energy. Prism Oracle. Let's see. I didn't see any colors before I came in today, but I'm thinking I saw red, green, and white. That's very Christmassy though. Oh, comfort. This is not any of the colors we were talking about. This is not anything of what we were speaking about, but comfort. Okay. Didn't I talk about me going back into my comfort area after that release? I missed one note, but it's okay. I remembered it because I went back over it a second time, which is that energy, going back over something a second or third, but it's like going over it a second time in its initial form, and that gives me 2D energy now. So going over something a second time, then it releases you up to that. I don't know, something about that, because there are 3 flowers here literally, so it does give something about that. And then comfort, the C is a 3. So I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and just read the energy, but it's just so much showing up with that already. Just like the releasing of something moves you up a shock, moves you up a level, upgrades you, stuff like that. Like it gives you more strength, more power. Like it takes away something from you because you're releasing control. You're taking away your hand in the process, but like you're not taking away the process. So that's really important here. Comfort, you could be very comfortable right now. Very, Well, current future, I don't really need to pull the whole freak. Oh, I'm just gonna fall because I'm gonna keep that technical. Yeah, it's like some things need to be set and fixed, and some things need to be mutable. It's like that helps the process a lot for whatever this is you're doing. I see ideation. Yeah, literally whatever it is you're creating with ideation, whatever you're creating. That's cool. Creation, and then the fact that there's already like a full-grown plant here. It tells me that whatever you're doing is going to like literally be successful because it's showing up as something that's grown. And now I'm seeing growth, and we talked about growth, so it's like just try to watch out for negative or positive growth, for both. Oh, well, not that many. It's the whole deck. Yeah, got a lot in your future, it seems like. And I would have gone over them, but it was literally just too many. So, Spirit, looking at the collective, what's the future energy look like? And now 2 of them. That's less, but it's love and isolation. Love and happiness. Isolation. I mean, Amber Mark's album gives me just very much Hermit energy, the 3 Dimensions Deep. And 3 Dimensions Deep makes sense with Hermit because it's like that's what the Hermit is. He literally is like a 3D cube, He's like, it's not about what's on the outside of the Hermit or what's on the outside of the cloak. It's within, Think of like when you draw 3D structures and you draw them with the lines, in a sense where you can see the inside of it, technically where it's like see-through. In that sense, yeah, that's a really creative thing. And in that sense, it's interesting because it's like, you see the negative space and the positive space, literally with the black lines and the white and whatever color is behind it, And you also see the lines too, so it's like you see the order, the makeup of it, but then you also see what takes up the space around it. So I don't know, with this comfort, what the space around you and right, because the lines are the structure and the space around is the mutable part. So what we just talked about. So this comfort here, just feel like there's a nice balance, nice comfort. I need to keep moving for the future. I'm stuck on this comfort here. What's in the future? Oh, it's because 3 cards keep flying out. And still 2, happiness and disruption. There's still pink energy. We're going to read pink. See what the freak that means. But I do love that artist. She could be healing for you if you do like her as well, because she's healing for me. That's not, try. Where there is desire, there's going to be a flame, and where there is a flame, someone's bound to get burned. Just because it burns doesn't mean you're gonna die. You gotta get up and try. Okay. I would have sang that, but that's a long ass section of me just singing. But Pink, yeah, I love her. She's really healing. We'll talk about her obviously because we have the energy here. So what's in the future of Spirit? Just 1 card. There's still 2. What in the hell? I might pull, but there's rejection and caution. I'm not gonna go over those because if Spirit wanted to keep talking about all the cards, I can lay them out right now. Future energy for the collective. Just 1 card, Spirit, please. Maybe I was gonna say maybe it's about being specific, but even still, 2 cards. Love and frustration. What the heck? I guess there's just a lot of energy in your future. Maybe there's choices in your future of how to handle an energy. What you talked about in the beginning about how to handle it if it comes into you, like anger or like frustration. But I see there's a choice, Spirit, but if we're just looking for 1 card for the future energy to clarify, I had to give you the deep explanation, Spirit. I had to be very, very specific, I'm hoping. But just to clarify the energy as a whole, please, for the collective, just 1. Because Spirit, you know me. There's still 2. I'm going to make a choice. It's illumination and growth, but the one that's literally sticking in my finger. See, technical versus personal. Technically, 2 cards came out. So I should put them back and reshuffle. But I feel like Spirit's going to literally do the same thing. There's a pattern. There's 2 cards that keep flying out. Not that I'm mad. I'm just like passionate. But growth is stuck in my finger. So it's like, I'm going to keep that one because that's one laying in my head. This one is literally laying on top of the deck. It wants to turn back upside down. But that was illumination, which is good. I see protection and happiness. But you got growth in your future energy. That's nice. This came out in the last reading too, so growth is starting to become a front runner. So now we got the whole spread out. Pink and green. What the heck is pink and green? It's shouting something to me, but I don't know what it's shouting at me. Freaking fireworks. It's I'm filming this on January 1st, New Year's Day. And again, y'all have a firework for every holiday because this is technically a holiday, but is it really? Didn't we have that holiday yesterday? What are y'all doing? This is the same damn holiday. How many fireworks do y'all have? Pink and green. What is it saying to me? I feel like it might be. Oh, that's why. Why is it first starting off as hot dogs and relish? Because like the pinks of hot dogs and then the green of relish, but I don't. I flipped right to pink, so that's cool. Pink is frequently associated with love, sweetness, nurturing. Pink roses are often associated with affection and gratitude. And in astrology, pink is aligned with the planet of Venus. Makes sense. I think of like the Venus razors. I believe that's the name of it. Which rules over aesthetics and love. Rose quartz, a popular crystal known for its light pink hue, is said to be useful for connecting to matters of the heart, boosting feelings of self-love. Brighter shades of pink like magenta and fuchsia. So like magenta and fuchsia, I guess, are very, very poppy to the eye, very, very bright, not as dark. They're on the light side. They convey a sense of excitement, while the lighter shades of pink, so I guess the darker ones, are often used to bring feelings of relaxation. So to cool it down, almost relaxation into an environment. So one fires it up, one cools it down with pink. But all in all, what it does is it brings a happy energy with relaxation and environment. Yeah, definitely. What the fuck you go? Or a happy energy. So bring into an environment. I don't know the opposite initially of pink because it has a technically we have the 6 colors of a rainbow, but in the personal, it's like this one has about. I think this deck has. I read the introduction. It has like 9 colors in this deck. 9 main colors, yeah, and it says it says those some are, although not technically colors, um, both black and white are included because we have a deep association with them, and that's literally what we were talking about. That's weird. Technically colors, they have a deep association. That's what we were. Okay, maybe while I was writing it, I read this and had a connection, but I don't know. I feel like I didn't connect that before. There's a lot of that happening today. So yeah, there's a big message of experience, and then also connecting something deeper within you. But a common theme amongst the pink cards is tenderness and love, which are what you're working with if you draw the pink cards. Love and tenderness. That makes sense. Like pink, like think of like pink beneath your skin. That's literally within. The mother energy of within. But tenderness and love, either for yourself or another, are really all about approaching things with a sense of gentleness and sensitivity. So approaching things with gentleness and sensitivity. How can you be more kind to yourself and to others? How can you approach life with compassion and an open and soft heart? I stop because then like personal comes in for me, and that comes in a lot because you see life from your vantage point, and I see it astrologically at least. If my sun's in Aries, a lot of my clarity, my light in my own mind comes from that Aries energy. So I'm definitely feeling like a lot of my examples are really personally related because that's just how I connect in a sense. You know what I mean? So connection and then relating and personal is a lot of that going on, but sensitivity, gentleness, senses, like feeling around you in a sense, and the current energy. How can you approach life with compassion and open and soft heart? Yeah. What I feel with that definitely is like with approaching it with an open and soft heart, with compassion. It's because we talked about communication a lot, and we'll clarify in a second. But how can you approach life with compassion? It's almost like they're oppositing them. So it's almost like they're saying that life is not naturally compassionate. So how can you approach it with compassion, with an open and soft heart? And the current comfort with that, because it's the 3 and there's a birth, you're definitely creating something. It also says it could be something as simple as cleaning out your home or rearranging your space. Or a great way to do this is nourishing your spirit or higher self. Invite more self-care. This is saying that okay, when comfort comes up, it's a signal that you may invite some more self-care. Prepare yourself meals that your body's been craving. It's definitely saying listening to yourself is very important. It's like listening to your wants, your needs. It's very funny that comes up again, but listening to what's important to you, what your body needs, and also listening to what your body wants because it's gonna show all externally. So it's like I'm gonna love how, and I love how we clarify this because it's gonna help so much. But a great way to do this is through nourishing your spirit or higher. I'm like reading wherever my eyes hit. A great way to do this is through nourishing your spirit or higher self. Um, the first thing I see with the only thing I see with that is that nourishing your spirit or higher self. It's like the way that the color procession does happen is it goes red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple naturally. But then with the extra added layer, the personal aspects of it, we do then get pink that comes right after purple. So it's like purple and then pink, because pink is almost like that color in between purple and red. It's like that mix of the two of purple and red. So then that's my brain saying purple is intuition, yet red is rooting. Red is the start. Red is the beginning. Red is primordial, catches your attention, the start of light. Purple is like no light whatsoever. Purple is your intuition. You have to see from within. So if you want to make it to this point of new light, you want to make it to this point of breakthrough of creation where something finally comes, breaks. If you want this planet to come through, break through the light, I didn't even notice, guys. It's so pretty, yo. That's freaking. And God, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, I think he said it then. I could be wrong. It could be verse. I don't know. I didn't read my Bible today. Was I supposed to? That's a no. But yeah, it's literally comfort and growth, and they're not the same energy of the card, but the picture behind it, the surface level. Look at that, the plants here, this growing. So I mean, it's telling me that whatever there is in this plant, in this space that you're growing, this self-care, this nurturing, whatever it is that you're nurturing, it is growing in the future, which is beautiful. But starting with comfort, just with that, whatever I was reading about the higher self in purple, it's like the pink comes after purple, right? Purple is that color of intuition of the higher self, of the crown. Yeah, the higher self of the crown. You can even think of like angel guidance usually comes here, because that's how the angels sort of like speak to you through that chakra. Then it goes down, hits you at the root, takes ground, takes hold of you, becomes a thing of this earth, and then you release it back out of you into the people, and that's how that sort of happens in that sense. So the purple, that crown chakra, that's where that is up there. After purple comes pink, so that's a level above, And so when it says it's a nourish your higher self, it's almost like your higher self is doing so much work to process the information below you. It's like giving to your higher self right now might be nice, giving to the crown chakra, feeding your mind, but then also releasing information, like letting stuff go off your mind. And that brings you to the song, not the song of today, not for you guys, because I didn't mention it really. One, because of Amber Mark and how much I've been mentioning her, and I apologize. But two, also because I just didn't feel compelled to personally. I'm gonna use that example as much as I can, and it's natural. It's not something, because it's been happening already. I just didn't have a name for it. But anyways, the song is the song of the day, because it's how I've been feeling. I've been kind of upset at some people, but the song is "Most Men" by Amber Mark, and that song it was just like she said, "Gotta cut that man out of your life, throw that man back in the past." I don't know, something about that with the nurturing your higher self in your mind, and like cutting, like maybe getting you're comfortable now, because it's like and you're growing more, because it's like you're cutting off dead weight, and that's more of that scythe energy of releasing and gathering too that we got from the story earlier. It's like you're letting go of like old growth, old stuff that's like, even stuff that's like dead, but it's like still like in the presence of it, but that energy still feeds into everything else. So while there is positive death energy in that sense where it's like internal within, even though, because even negatives have positives and positive negatives and blah, 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 it goes into like that, but like so it just feels like on a natural level, external death, like when it happens like in 3D in real life, it's like it's more of a negative, it's more of a negative thing to be sort of seen. Of course we have those positive aspects, but that's nuance, that's within, but, and so it feels like that positive death is within. It's when you do it, and you change your insides and you rebirth your insides, that's that positive death. So it's like you are letting go of that dead weight and bringing in new things. You're leaving the space for new things, for sure. And with comfort, it's like you're at a point where maybe I'm saying it like this. I see the plants have already grown. Like they've already grown to a point where they are like, oh my God, funny. Look at the time. It's freaking. Oh, come on, watch. Don't do it to me. Oh no no. Oh, and it moved. Okay, that's not fair because it moved. Where's my watch right now? Is it doing that thing where it wants to turn on every time I move my freaking wrist? Well, how is that fair, watch? Well, how is that fair? Oh my god. It says 556, but it was 555 a second ago. But that don't matter actually, because I'll take the 6. I mentioned before I'm a life past 6. I love the number. That just means that things are not only changing, but they're upgrading. They're moving beyond the change. They're really actually balancing out, which is what the 6 tells you. They're harmonizing. But yeah, I see the plants are already grown here. I was trying to pull up the light. I got to shade it by 555. I don't know what that says, but literally there's something already. You've already cultivated a beautiful, like, you've already grown something very nice, and you're in a space where it's comfortable. So maybe you've already cut some things out of your life, some extra dead weight, and this has already brought in new growth for you, right? But with comfort here, it's not like you're focused on like the hard part of having to start the the process. It feels very in between. You're not focused on having to get rid of anything right now too, or you're focused on the gather. It almost feels like too, but if not, you're in the in between, about to go to the gather, or you're just in the in between in general. But you're like, it's more so just like comfortable for sure. And I'm gonna love the oracle in a sec. It's just very comfortable. I'm like, why is it comfortable, Spirit? I guess I should ask, why is it comfortable? It looks like a pitchfork now. I don't know why it should look like a pitchfork, but it looks like those things are on a pitchfork. And now if I think of that, it just looks like a regular fork with like meatballs on it too, randomly. So maybe comfort foods for sure, absolutely. But with the pitchfork, I think of like, oh, with the pitchfork, I think of like things that like hunt monsters, right? Like they're like, get this ogre out of this swamp. You know what I'm saying? So that's more so feels like oh, now it's giving me another one. But it feels like with the pitchfork, it's like, clearing out some monsters, clearing out some physical people that are like monsters to you, but then also clearing out your own inner demons, your own inner monsters. Um, but then lastly with that, I think I saw a trident with this because it's giving literally the trident energy. But now it's like what would I say? That's Greek mythology. That's comfortable reading to me. So maybe like media that's comfortable to you, you're enjoying. Because I read Greek mythology and I'm like a baby. I like go to sleep. It's like, oh, this is so dreamy. It's so interesting. This is so cool. Could be my Mercury in Pisces that really enjoys the because Greek mythology almost feels like it's that Pisces balance. Greek mythology feels like a dream. It's like it's not real, but then I'm like, what is it though? Did it happen? Because if Jesus was here, why can't they be? Um, Growth. I feel like every time I say something stupid, like not stupid, I don't know, like goofy. There's a Christian who's upsetting me. I'm so sorry. Or like a toxic Christian who's upsetting me. There are good Christians. There's a toxic one who's upsetting me. And I'm like, yo, get your own personal beliefs and stay out of mine. And I can't physically see it, and I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I just feel it there. So it feels goofy, but at the same time, it feels so sure about what I'm saying, because my body is like, shut up. I don't know. Anyways, not to you guys, of course, to the toxic Christians. Shut up. Um. Anyways, I'm going to move on to the future where it says growth, and I'm going to read this card. It says, this card speaks to transformational. I should start with the energy of green. It's just balance, renewal. It gives you opportunity through gratitude and abundance, or moving on a new project. Let this time be easy and relaxed. It's very nice and balanced. And it says, just let things unfold and grow as they need to. Now, if I say green, yes, red and green are opposite colors. Absolutely. I mean, I talk about that a lot, and the way things oppose is they're very opposite, obviously, but they're still very similar. That's why they oppose each other. It's like think Venn diagram, two subjects that are very similar, but we have to find the differences, stuff like that. So green and red are opposite colors, so they're very similar, but they do have a difference that you can visually see. But to its root, they're pretty much the same color, just at a different value. Now, the thing about that is that this card tells you to relax and let things unfold and grow as they need to. And if I talk about red being like a red room, like it's light, but it's not really light. Like if you think like a red color inside of a room, it's still very dark. It's a very dark color because it's the first color. It's a very deep color, deep on one end of the spectrum. Um, so it's like almost like if you're in a dark room like that, or if you're in a dark area, it's like you do need to like relax and move slowly to let things unfold. That's more so your best weapon instead of like rushing through it, because you could like rush through, trip on a pitchfork. And hopefully it's one of those ones that just like smacks the broom handle into your face, not one of the ones like you like, stab yourself on. That'd be awful. But metaphorically, I hope you know. No, I'm not. I don't physically. I don't think that's actually happening. But the example of it, I saw in my brain. So yeah, let things unfold as they need to. But the card of growth says it speaks to the transformational qualities of nature. Okay, y'all transforming. Y'all know how I love when y'all transform. The transformational qualities of nature and its ability to softly grow and change through time. Whoa. In your future, it says that this card speaks to basically nature, and then how nature changes into nurture, how it grows over time. That's not at all what we've been talking about this whole time. That's freaky. And change throughout time. So we are constantly growing and shifting throughout our lives. True growth means that you're moving towards your ultimate truth and your highest version of yourself. That's really cool because even like when you nurture your higher self, is what we said, you move to a higher version of yourself. So and it's unseen, like the way that you can't really see pink in the natural like color rainbow procession. But then if you can even think beyond the natural, beyond your nature, beyond what you've been created for, you can do more that you wouldn't be able to believe because you haven't seen it. So that's okay because you can still believe it and still create it. You don't need to see it. If ever like if that was the case, then no, we would have no food on this planet because farmers would just give up. They would put a seed into the ground and then like be like, why isn't this plant here? Why is my food not here immediately? Like I, not Uber seeds. Like it's not exactly how that example works, but it's like a like you the Uber is a seed. You put it into the ground and then like check your ride. 5 minutes later, your plant's grown. It happens like that in video games, and that's what I'm saying. The difference between a real life and different. I don't know that one's different, but yeah, that one's a video game. I think about that sometimes. How like I don't know, video games and media. Some stuff should exist for there, and then we should have our own thing. Like that's how we should be differentiated. At least I think, because some people be doing video game and TV shit. It's just like you need to be a human. Anyways, um, and even in that example, people think video games influence a lot of people. People that was a big fear for a lot of adults. And whether for positive or negative, I guess they're right. But I don't know if they're really focused on the right issue, which is funny again because that's surface and root again. There's just a lot of synchronicities. We're gonna keep moving forward. Feeling like a late night tarot at this point, but we're gonna keep moving as best as we can. Let's see. Okay, sometimes growth can be painful, and you need to prune to make way for new blossoms. Remember that this is just part of the process, and you're making your way to your own sacred truth. Stop it. Ah, Spirit, I love you so much because Spirit loves me so much. In a sense, we're like, that's how I'm feeling in the moment. Sorry if that sounded goofy. Not only do I say things faster than my brain lets them think, but I also am just like very sentimental at the same time, and that was very sweet. Because it's just like it definitely reflects what we were a little bit talking about, and so I feel like I'm being listened to by Spirit and being communicated to at the same time. Because it says right here that sometimes growth can be painful, and you need to prune things to make way for new blossoms. So it's very the scythe from the Lenormand, get rid of old things for new things to grow. It's all yes, the light came on. See my freaking book. Turned on the light inside the car from outside. Anyways, I don't know what that example is going to move into, so let me just keep saying what I was saying. Yeah, sometimes growth can be painful as well. How we were talking about the pain that's in release, but the pleasure that's in receiving. So right, pain that's in pruning this, but then the pleasure that comes through with the new blossom. Not even just the pleasure bit, but the comfort, the pleasures and the comforts that come from it. So if comfort comes out in your current energy, it looks like you have released something for sure. I have to believe that if that's what I'm seeing with the comfort and the growth, like it's showing me very positive energy. If that's it, then the balance of that, wherever that negative energy is, it's like the universe is handing you this positive energy. So you, in that balance, you yourself might be dealing with the negative energy, and that just means like you're working through it, you're processing it, and that's what this thing says. It's just part of the process, you know. And if it says remember that it's just part of the process, you can always remember that the process always has a balance. So if you're doing one thing, there's always a time for that, the opposite of that. So if you're going through hard work, there's always the time for comfort and chill. If you're going through a happy time, there's always a time for a sad time. You know, like there's a balance in everything, but it doesn't end there. It doesn't stop there. Is the point. Like even when there's a bad thing, there will be a good thing, and like if you're going from a good thing to a bad thing and you feel like coming through, don't even worry about it because there will be a good thing coming after that. You know, that's way it'll work. It always pulls its opposite. Um, always. The only thing that's different and personal is how we handle it and deal with it, and that's hard. I understand. I always feel like crying there. Which I did. I did cry a bunch before, like this reading today, or just today in general. So it was very interesting because I didn't mention that, but I was like, damn, just so much fucking frustration. And last thing is you're making your way towards your own sacred truth. I've talked about that with religion and spirituality. How I'm like, and thank you for whoever. And and it's like weird because it could be someone now. It could even be someone in the future. It's like I don't even. And obviously it's someone in the future if no one's watching this while I'm recording it. I'm a freaking dip. But like, you know what I mean? Like as this is posted, it could be someone who's not even watched the video yet. That I'm like the energy. What I'm saying is it's like that's how interesting time is. Like it doesn't have to literally be in my time zone presently for me to feel it. And so it's very because you can feel shit from your past. Why can you not feel shit from your future? More of that balance energy. So it's very interesting because like you exist in that space, just not now. You will. And so I just feel like that person, there's somebody, I don't know when it is. I don't know if it's 2024 as we're in right now. Oh, this is the first time he's saying that out loud. Freaking crazy. I don't know if it's us in 2024, or I don't know if it's someone in freaking 1981 or 2000. But more realistically, someone in like 2050. But somebody is religiously annoying. That's gonna be fun to think about. Anyways, the energy of my God with the religion and finding your own sacred truth. Yeah, it's like I know I know I probably sound really and this is for that person, but just everyone in general. I know I may sound really like I don't know the word, anti-Semitic or just anti-church or anti-religion. It's not that I'm anti-religion on the surface, sure, right? But if you're looking deeper into it, if you're connecting to it personally, or if you're trying to understand it for yourself, which is funny because that's the overall message. The answer to the question is the question itself, type of energy, or what do you say in the question? But I know I may seem just anti-church, but or anti-religion, but I'm definitely not. I'm anti the idea of what religion gives you, right? Or what we have it, the face of it, of what it is, like on a collective scale. But it's like I like religion. I don't like the structure of what it has been made into. What I like about it is the connection that we have with something that can the connection we have is something. I mean, I think there has to be something after it. I like to have that connection with something, something that listens and communicates as much as you listen and communicate to it as well, like a regular relationship. That feels to me like I'm an Aries. Again, that feels to me very first house, second house. Very easy, just a connection. But no, it feels very, very much. I'm reaching to my brother's Taurus energy. He speaks like that now that he's moved to Alabama. It's very much like I can't even do it right, but he does it well. Changing dialects, his nature, he definitely nurtured that nature because that's very different. But I love it. That example, I don't know what season we're in or what the chart looks like, but there's just been a lot of information today, so it's been hard to hold on to. It feels very air. And there's a streak running down my thing, which is looking like roots. Oh my God, what am I thinking of? Religion and spirituality, yes. I call it religion and spirituality now because I had to differentiate because all I knew was religion. All I knew, that's all I was taught. With my nature, all I was taught was religion. And I was like, I like religion because I like to connect, but I don't like what y'all be doing with it. And how do I that could be even 1D to 2D. It was like, how do I differentiate? How do I really understand, what the heck I'm even doing, what it is that I'm even fucking like caring about so much, And so since I figured that out, it was like, then I have two definitions: religion and spirituality. Because the way spirituality is, like I said, it's like it's you and your personal sacred truth. It's your connection, your sacred personal thing. And it's sacred because it's unique, to you, and you also care about it. It's a mix of both. It's not just unique, in general, and it's not just it's not something you care about in general. It's not just one or the other. It's both at the same time. It's very specific to you, and it's something that you feel very passionate, very deep to your soul, right? And so that's what I feel like is the more important thing. Now, religion is cool. Because religion is in my brain where it's like then you guys you bring it. That's when you share and you connect and you speak and you can even like like if it's that feels very inner and outer. And I never thought about that, but that's the technical personal. It's like it's one. I mean, masculine and feminine. It's very like within and without. It's like one you take to yourself and then one you take to others so that you can share, teach, lead, protect, and you can hear from other people, teach, lead, protect. That's the religion part. When you mix it all together instead, and you're like, all right, all of our personal truth is going to be like your personal truth is our personal truth, and then the crowd repeats, your personal truth is our personal truth. That's when it's fucking, and that's what it felt like. I know it's not what it sounded like, y'all, but that's what it felt like altogether. Is just like repeating after people, and my God, I could not do that because y'all were talking about feeling shit that I was not feeling. That is what I'm saying. Trusting your feeling is so important because your feelings are literally your freaking compass in this world, and religion is something that, or the way it can work, it doesn't always do this. The way it can work is it can freaking lead you in not the direction that your body is taking you, and your body is the only thing that you kind of have, and that's kind of that energy of Earth, the on our 3D level, the Earth, it's only one element in there, and then you have the three elements inside. That's the same thing I'm saying. Earth, you only have one body. You only have one body to lead in a direction. After this body is done, you're done on this level. So it's like it's very important to lead that thing in the right direction. If you only had one car, if you only were promised one car your entire life, and then after that, no more cars, God said that, you'd probably do your best to protect that freaking car. Because after that, what are you gonna do? I'm taking that personally because I feel that right now. Literally, I mean, this car, doesn't operate that well right now. So I be walking, hiking, bussing, bussing by Nicki Minaj. Yeah, my connect. Oh, she says the word connect, so that's funny. I don't know the rest of the words. I sort of just mumbled it with her though, cause I stand her. So let me see. Anyways, now that we got through that example, let me go ahead and clarify with the Lenormand, which should be pretty quick because we've been studying recently, so it's fresher on the mind. So let's go ahead and clarify to see what's going on. It's just very cool energy. Very cool energy. I think, did I finish my religion and spirituality? Yeah. Because I could go on and on about it. Maybe I'll put a video for that or something like that. Or I don't know. Because I could talk about that for a while, but at the same time, I don't like to talk about it. Because it's just like, it can be very touchy. And not just like, it's not that I'm like, I'm afraid of offending anyone. It's just, I don't, not that I just don't want to offend anyone. It's just that I also feel like it's falling on deaf ears where sometimes and that's okay. That's okay because in a sense where it's like, it don't matter. Those people are still going to believe in their faith. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what you should do. If that's what your personal truth is telling you, do that. But then it's funny to me where it's like, you can believe your personal truth, babe, but what about me? And that is where I'm done with that conversation because I hope you get it. Does that make sense? I feel like y'all might get it. And I know y'all know, actually I know y'all get it for sure. I don't even have to say I feel it. I know y'all do. Those who are really like the supporters of this channel, y'all get that. Even if it's not what you believe in, like even if you are a Christian yourself, I hope that at least you understand where I'm coming from, what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And that's what people mean when they be there. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. That's what it means. Just getting that deeper understanding. You don't have to believe it yourself though. But whoever that toxic Christian is, I'm gonna need you to. You can still like and subscribe, babe. I appreciate it, but you got to go. Anyways, I'm gonna move forward. Is my incense up here? Mother effer, I'm literally clearing this energy. I don't care that I'm an hour and freaking 20 plus gosh dang minutes and I'm gonna clear that energy because I listen to my heart. And that's funny because I love that church song. Listen to our hearts and hear our spirits sing. I like most religious songs, honestly, because they're songs and they're music. You can't really change how music makes you feel. Not how it makes you feel. All it does is talks about the myriad of feelings, but you can't change what music sort of does to you on a base level, how it heals you in a sense, So church music will always sound good no matter freaking what. My church didn't make it, so I'm okay with it. But yeah, I freaking hate that experience. I love it and hate it. It's, you know what I mean? I love what I got from it. King of Wands energy. Let's go ahead and clarify with the Lenormand. I'm imagining in my brain. Clarification energy, timestamp 1:29. Jesus Christ, Shamar. I'm okay with it. I already explained to myself, this is like winter season vibes, so it's just a little bit longer. I think this happened last winter too. I'll have to go back and check. But you know, that's just different energy. I think even with like cold, the atoms like compress together. They bunch together. Is it, or do they spread apart? I forget. I feel like they bunch together because they get closer, and that's why ice becomes a solid, right? So it's like there's a lot that's coming together. I feel in this energy too, but there's a lot that is there's a lot of like accumulating almost like in sections. So it's like maybe like a period of like silence, and then a period of like immense abundance, and like a period of like a little bit more. But it's like I don't know, closer together, more connected. I don't know. Maybe there's just like a lot of thoughts that are a lot of avenues more connected. Very. That's why the hermit in hibernation, you learn more within, because you know those avenues are more connected. There's more space for them, because in like the summer when you're out, when you're doing about, you know, those things are being occupied by your friends, by the external. There's a balance in that, but I'm not gonna get into it because that's a story for another day. What's at the bottom? Oh yeah. Oh, we have the roses now actually. Which this can be about a gift. So you could be receiving a gift, especially this coming next to comfort. Look at all the flower metaphors in this. So maybe for my 420 homies out there, I see that flower, and then I see this flower, and then babe, I also see this flower. So just for y'all folks out there, I see chill vibes, I would say, you know what I mean? I see really good chill vibes. Like I feel like if maybe you like have been like, you know, into, you know, cannabis in general, this might be like just a new level, you know, and like, oh wow, this is feeling really good, or this is a different experience. And then maybe even like a gift, like someone you're receiving more than you expected, receiving more than you asked for. But it feels good though, because 9 here, it fills you out, it makes you feel not complete. You make yourself feel complete, and that's why this gift is being brought into you. That's definitely what's there. And Queen of Swords, yeah, it's also with Queen of Swords. You are, it's the swords, so it's the mind, right? But it's the queen, so it's the one, it's the female, it's the within. So it's your thoughts it's the part of your mind that's feminine. The thoughts within, not speaking, because that'll go outside of you. So thoughts, thinking, processing, you know, learning with that, you know, learning stuff like that. So because of what you've learned, what you processed, what you thought about, how you processed it, what your lens is like, how you've, you know, how you've seen it, and this is a gift too around Christmas time too, so you could be thinking about a gift. But I don't know. Maybe you have a gift in the way you're able to process or think and learn, you know, and it's a very unique gift I'm feeling with this energy, but like because it's unique to you, I feel like it helps people. It helps a whole group of people for sure. Whether this is like a generation thing or like, you know, your family or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, it's like the way you think. It's like it's diff. Yeah. I don't know. Because the way you process, right? And I'm gonna say right because earlier we were talking about how like this like it's like maybe someone understands the problem at a surface but not the root level. And it's because the way that they understand it at the surface and you understand the surface is like almost the same thing, right? But then because of the way they process it and the way you process it, it's just different when it gets down to the root. So that energy is 100% there. And yeah, even like because look at and I would say what I'm thinking in my mind was how do you process it? What does it do for you? Is it negative? Is it positive? I don't know how they process it. I don't know if it's negative or positive for them, but for you, babe, I can for sure say it's positive because I do see, because growth is still very, but it looks like nice growth here. It feels like nice growth, I should say. It doesn't look like nice growth. It looks like just growth, like what the card says. But how it feels to me right now is it feels like good growth. I don't know. Because even hot dogs and relish, the example from earlier, is like it's summertime, it's happy, it's warm, it's good. I don't even know if you like hot dogs and relish. I don't know if I've tried relish unless it's been in something I didn't know it's been in. It's been in like egg salad and shit like that. So maybe I kind of like it there. I haven't tried it anywhere else. I don't know if I've tried it on a hot dog just because I barely even eat hot dogs as it is. But if I'm really hungry, what does pink and green also give you? It's something else too. Maybe pigs and grass. Still more of that pigging out, eating energy. I haven't clarified it. I'm so sorry. That's literally like 5 more minutes after the time I said I would. That's just so much to say. But we'll move forward. Because I just see something with pink and green that I can't quite feel. And it's kind of pissing me off. But if I move forward, maybe it'll come to me. It's okay. All right. So, starting off with the Lenormand Oracle. I have my guidebook. It's inside the guidebook of the Prism Tarot Oracle. I've always said Prism Tarot since this day this channel started as a mess up. Maybe the universe is telling me to create it. Maybe I shouldn't say that idea online. No one take my idea. Or if you do, actually, go ahead, take the idea. Because we can, share decks, actually. That'd be pretty cool. I processed that differently. I was about to be like, don't take my idea. And I was like, actually, you know what? Low-key, we can both thrive. That feels very mature. So it feels like you're maturing in whatever energy you're going through. Where is my book? Spirit, do you mind leading me to my book? Please, where my eyes cannot see, God. Where did I put that bit? Yes? No? Collective, I am so sorry. I don't know where the hell. Because wasn't I just using it, guys? Y'all saw me read it, right? Or, because I looked in the bag. Oh my God. If I'm already long on time, why would I want to waste more of it, Spirit, please? Oh my God, where did I put this freaking book? I'm gonna feel so dumb when I find it, but I don't see it. Oh my God, under my freaking leg. It's hard for me to process anger because I just get so angry. So Aries energy. Okay. What was I looking for? Hermetic inside this book. We're about to end this reading soon, so it's cool at some point. But I found the book inside the other book, which I knew it was there, obviously. I said that. But then I had to freaking struggle to find it, so it was a lot more impactful. The receive I got felt a lot better than if I just found the book normally. Because I was like, I was looking for this book. So yeah, that energy is here too. You had to really fight for this. So since you did, the receive is just as powerful. It outweighs. It doesn't feel just as powerful. It outweighs the negative you went through. It's a major abundance in growth, in abundance that you're receiving. It's like if I said there was an energy of double up, this is an energy of triple up. That, and I don't even know what that feels like for sure. It's almost like when you try to explain the 4D to yourself or the 5D shit like that. You can explain 2D and 3D like, oh yeah, like a picture and us, and then you think of 4D and 5D and you're like, you probably can explain it, but me, I'm just like, I don't know, senses, smells sometimes. They had that 40, I don't know, let's keep clarifying. 41 card underneath. Y'all trying to really, Spirit's even trying to make fun of me with this 4 energy. Anyways. And the 4-1 is 5, so 5. They're really trying to make fun of me with that. And I can't explain a concept that's way above me. That should even touch my fucking chakra system. I can't even understand it. Alright, so starting with the beginning, we have comfort. What do we have with the Lenormand Oracle? I wonder what part of my energy does this. Is it Pisces Mercury? Because this is all my mind and my mouth, so it's got to be Pisces Mercury. But I'm not judging it. I just want to understand what comes out. Is that 2 cards or 1? Because it feels like 2. It feels like summer. Yeah, it's 2 cards. One was stuck to the other. What the hell? It's the problem when you eat and pull cards at the same time every day. What was at the bottom? The 13. That's a 4. The child. Jesus Christ. 4 is here, but just the child. And also the 3. Oh, so 3 and 4. 3 and 13 here. There's a 3 and there's a 3 backed up by a 1. So there's an Empress energy, a mother, and then a mother backed up by a 1, a magician, maybe even like a son or daughter being the magician. Or, just a mother or a parental figure being backed up by a child. A young child being backed up by an adult. Something like that. But I just need 1 card, Spirit, please. Please, for comfort. And with comfort in the child and the ship as well. It's like moving your inner child to a better place, healing, like I was talking about time and space. It's like if we can feel into time in the past and present. Sometimes I think that even works too with healing stuff. If you sometimes we're in the way we heal stuff. We may not be able to heal it physically. We can't go back physically, but sometimes there's a bit of a nuance, a personal sort of time travel where you can go back and where you can heal something in the present And it happens. It's mindfulness. It's very so present. Like you can heal the way you think about something in the present, and automatically it makes you feel better about the past. So like maybe your past self can't feel better, but you can, and it's like you can sort of. It's like the energy of like maybe like the past won't fix itself, but the future can continue to correct itself, and it makes you feel better now. But then as you move along, you'll keep that in your, if you can keep it a bit of a habit to do that, or to maybe correct, what you didn't like, whatnot. It'll make you feel better going forward. So in a sense, and then your present person becomes your past. I mean, the present version of yourself becomes the past version of yourself later on. So then haven't you healed the past? That was just me being dumb semantically with words, but it also, you know what I mean? You can still heal your past in the present is the basis of that. Let's continue moving, because I just need one card. Because Spirit, you see what I do with 0 cards. So can you, can I please? What do we have for comfort? Just that one. Oh, this flew out in my finger. The broom. That's right after the scythe. I thought it was a scythe for a second. I was like, oh, Spirit, you're listening. And you still are, but this is the broom or the whip. I forget what the thing calls it. That's number 11. I'll read that in a second. I just want to see what it's called. Oh, the birch or the broom. That's why I was like, what the freak? I know what a birch is. Isn't it like a tree? But then like, oh shit, now there's more information. Goodness gracious. We'll move forward. But what do we have for growth, Spirit? And if the growth of a tree, Jesus Christ, what do we have for growth? Definitely the growth of a tree. I'm trying to hear this information without spilling it out so much, because every time I do that, I talk about it a bunch. But you guys just know, because there's so much coming through. The fox, bro. What? Because I saw this in like, I pulled this out a bunch, and I was like, oh, okay, the fox is here for me. But the fox is here for all of us, babe. There's something we're learning individually as people, and there's something we're learning together. But there's that'll be good information to know, because there's a fox here with the 9 of Wands, and this is here with the birch is with the Knight of Wands. So yeah, that's what I always say too. Like I always have to pronounce one very differently to make sure I get it correct, so you guys understand me correctly. So it's something about that where it's like you're correcting or pronouncing or putting an emphasis on something, or differentiating it for something else. Like really emphasizing the importance of one thing, so that it can be understood clearly. That's what we do with 2D themes, so we can understand it clearly, right? Or no. Yeah, understand it clearly, right? Kind of ish, because that's almost like 3D too, where it's like you understand it clearly and deeply. But anyways, here with the fox, that's an interesting card. It always is. Coming with growth too is interesting. We'll get into that, because that could get crazy. What I've learned more about the Lenormand has expanded me. Like, it's funny because it's not even much on the definition for it, but I already had a definition when I read the book before, and it's just, I don't know, my mind's in a different space, or also it's just like I wrote down different things and I had to do it in a different way. It just all like it processed differently, so there's just a lot more information too. I need that book. For real. But the broom coming out on top of, or the birch and broom, so that's interesting. Yeah, the natural thing versus what we make it into. That's hilarious, because that's the birch and the broom for sure, if that's what birch means. Coming next to the comfort. First thing I'll have to say is the surface level of what this comes off of. I think that's the easiest for me to probably do surface level before I go talking into a whole tangent. But surface level, the broom can be able to talk about like extreme energy, but also like extreme violence as well. And I can only see the birch or broom as like maybe like a toxic or violent relationship, where it's like, I don't know where it is on the spectrum of how toxic or violent, but it's just like that was just something you might have dealt with. Where like, it doesn't, even with the examples, doesn't have to be physically violent. It can still be mentally, emotionally, or spiritually violent, where someone attacks your beliefs, your spirit, where someone attacks your heart, where someone attacks your mind. And especially when someone attacks your mind, that shit is so annoying. Because that's usually the window to the external, the window to the earth is usually your mind. So your whole experience, your whole physical experience is going through that window. So it's like, when people do that, it's like putting like sunglasses on someone in a dark room. It's like so rude. Like, you already know things are dark. I don't know how to explain that, but it's something about the energy. Anyways, so yeah, but feeling comfort in the present now, and the current energy with the Knight of Wands, taking action. The Knight of Wands moves forward. The Knight of Wands breaks new light. Like, it is like that torch that comes in when there's like a very dark, because it's like a torch on a horse. a torch on movement. So it's like a light that's coming towards you, coming bright. I'm literally as a car is coming towards me, but something that's making a situation brighter gradually as it's moving towards you. As it's an opportunity is coming towards you, it's also making things brighter. But at the same time, the Knight of Wands can also be striking a new path. So it could be the light could also be moving farther from you. So you could be going into a darker space, and that could be the balance. Because you're going to a darker space, the universe is bringing comfort for you, so that you can use it to balance it out, to heal. But that Knight of Wands also, it breaks new ground. So it's like you could be breaking out to a new path. And again, we're talking about that, so it's like maybe it's just you haven't experienced it. So the Knight of Wands goes to move to get that experience. So I don't know. It could be like, again, so that could be dark. So like you can't see where your path is gonna lead to. But the balance of that is the brightness in your hope, the brightness in your intuition and your faith, because like you can see that the path, you wouldn't have gone on this path if you didn't know there was already a good. That's what the heart does. It's like, and that's how time. Like I was saying, how time works. It's crazy how intuition works in a sense where it's like you do something because like the future something about it, so they lead you in that path. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it, but it's also very cool. Because that is like that would be an internal time travel, but it's in a sense it's cool to see that on the surface, but then when I go deeper into it and I think about it more, I realize the fact that again, time is existing at the same time, like the past, present, and future is all existing all at once, and that's a woo-woo statement, I get, but if I think about it 3D regular, it's just interesting because all I can see is right now physically. But something that's inside of me, that lives inside of me, that is a part of my like body system, can see literally more like like obviously I can tell about the past because my mind collects it as information, but the information I don't have, it's still there, and that's the weirdest thing. But I'll go ahead and move forward. I don't know if who that was a message for, but I think that's cool and weird. Because that just means like a million Shamars are sitting in this car right now. If that's true, because that's weird. Anyways, 11, the birch, the broom. It says conflict, strife, violence, discord, getting attention in order. So it could mean violence or like discord or the conflict. So maybe like 5 energy, and it says also getting attention in order, does it say? What the fuck? I don't know what that's supposed to mean when I wrote that, but I think it just means like when things need to be gotten into order, when things need to be cleaned up, it's like it gets your attention. It's not the cleaning up process. It could be, but this is like the moment of like when you see dirt and then you're like, okay, now I gotta find the broom. It's like this is the moment where it's like it catches your attention. It's like you see like when you see something, say something. That sort of energy was like you see the violent situation happening, you're like, okay, I gotta solve this, or I gotta not even if you don't solve it, you gotta find someone who can, So like, but this is the part where it gets your attention, and with this comfort, that's interesting. Getting your attention with comfort, growth, right? So okay. So something grew, something has grown, and it feels definitely very positive. With the pink here, all we were talking about was happiness, and at the bottom of the deck we got happiness, so it feels majorly positive. Again, if there's any negative, it's more nuanced, and I'll talk about it when it does come out, but it feels very much more positive in this energy, and there's something that's grown, and it's like you can see the growth of it, and it's definitely positive because you see the growth of it, and because it caught your attention, whatever it is that's blossoming and being abundant right now, because it caught your attention, what it's causing you to do is not only like get rid of that old growth, because you probably want more of what's growing that's good, so you want to get rid of that old growth, but you're also cleaning the space, you're giving it more attention, you're giving it like, it's like when you do something right, and so you focus on that so that you can do it right more, or it's like when you care about something, you start paying it more attention, and that thing starts to grow. It's like, things only have the life that we give it, in a sense like that. But it's cool because with the 11 here being the bird, it's like I don't know, it's like connect. Well, 1 and 1 makes that 2, so that's very 2D as we were talking about. So maybe like you see it, you more so like something's taking root for sure. That's what the 2D says. It's about like in my little examples, like the thing takes root. It makes sense. It like it now you can differentiate it. It's like now it's not like, oh, it could be this, could be that. It's like, no, for sure, one is black, one is white. It's like you can't like really you can mix them up, but that's a personal thing. And then, and I don't mean that in a rude way. I mean that literally in like the to clarify, to use a semantic to clarify what I'm talking about. That is more of a personal thing if you are mixing them up because it's unique, it's different. Definitely do that too. But if you're using it for a general, collective, overall, scientific, specific understanding, and I think people don't understand the difference between technical and personal a lot at all. That's probably another reason why I brought it up. People do not understand. They either mix it up or they mix them together. And it's fucking frustrating. Because then they'll be like taking things that are technical personal and taking things that are personal technical. And I'm like, baby. And I can see why that makes sense if they're using their perspective from externally instead of internally. Of course that would happen because it's literally like if you looked in a mirror and it wasn't reflected, you would think something's off, right? It's like a weird universe I'm feeling right now. It's just like that's how people act. That's what I'm feeling. People like I don't know what the word is. It's like if a reflection had a reflection, it's just really convoluted, and that's when it feels toxic. You know, like when something is like in and within itself too much. It feels very like not rabbit hole, but kind of rabbit hole. And I'm thinking Rabbit Hole by Queen Herbie. She's a person who had a huge transformation, and I love her for it. I was listening to Broken Hearted the other day by Carmen, the same person, and I was like, dang, she was good back then. And she's still good now, but I don't know. I never knew how much she would actually be in my life as an influence as a little 10 or 11-year-old kid. That's funny. The number of the card is 11. I think she released that in 2012, actually. I'm getting off on a tangent. Comfort plus the broom, that's 11 plus 3. I see is 14 temperance. So balancing things out. And with comfort, yeah, because if you want more growth, it's not going to grow if there's dead stuff or old stuff. So you're getting rid of that, balancing the area to make it. But before things come into balance, right, with that conflict and strife, before things come into balance, there is a space in between. Like there is A and there's B, but it's not that A and B are one letter. There has to be a space in between to differentiate them. So there has to be a space in between this to differentiate these cycles or whatever's going on of what's going on. Yeah, so I think that's why there's comfort right now because it's like you're not, and maybe that's why because like it's a space in between. It's like and that's the whole message of the current. It's like it's a time to breathe. You've done work with this broom here. It's like and it's like you've been catching the attention of the broom to do more work, and Spirit's like, no, it's okay, it's all right. Like there will be a time for that for sure. But they're like, yeah, you can do some light sweeping if you want to. It's like that really nice. It's like a nice grad. It's like a nice parental energy, almost like a nice teacher or parent. It's like, there's no work. You can chill out. You don't have any more work to do. But if you really want to, you can go ahead. And that's technical and personal. And I apologize for using that so much, but it's just the awareness of it is interesting. I'll find a way to say it or not say it later. But it's like how it is versus how someone makes it because of who they are. That individual experience. So it's just like I don't know. You could also be experiencing someone who's very nurturing or comforting to you, where it's like they're a leader. They're doing things by the book and how it's supposed to be done, right? They're doing things ethically and like morally like correct stuff like that. I don't know. They're like walking as there's like a regular average Joe, but at the same time they have an individual perspective that moves them a little bit differently. That makes that it's not so. Everything's not so expected with this person. It feels too. So maybe if there's someone who's just nurturing to you, whether it's family or romantic relationship, a sibling, something like that. I don't know. It's just anything within that. It's like someone is being who they are, who they've known themselves to be, but at the same time they're shifting themselves just a bit to like match you or fit you or help you out, give you the best comfort they can. And with the broom, it's like I don't know. It catches your attention. I don't know. It's like you catch each other's attention because you catch each other's attention. It's like you just want to bring each other comfort. There's been a huge romantic energy, and it doesn't always come out. It's usually just a message about like some inner healing or some self-love crap. I'm just kidding, but there's like I don't know. There's been a really nice romantic energy in this, so it's really nice. Last thing I see with comfort and the broom is like, and the birch. Oh yeah, that's what I didn't talk about. But I just gotta say, broom and birch. And the comfort and love, it's just like almost like I don't know what I say. God close another 2-hour reading. I'm so sorry, guys. It's because the thing I read in the beginning. What am I saying? The broom and the comfort is like because it's like because you cleaned up this And so sometimes I don't want to say things as plainly because I don't want them to sound like one way or the other. I want you guys to just get it overall generally, but I shouldn't be so controlling. What I'm seeing is like it's like you cleaned out like an old relationship, right? And so like because you like imagine like you didn't do that and you wanted to be into a new relationship. What did Queen Herbie say about that? She's coming up more times. Something about I hope I gotta remember what song it is. I'm so upset that I can't remember this. She's my queen. It's almost like make sure make sure you clean yourself before the next relationship. Like you clear your energy before the next relationship type of energy. Whereas like you hurt me in this relationship, but before you move on to somebody else, you better make sure that you clear that out, so you don't give them the same energy. Which is so mature. It's like you hurt me, but I don't want you hurting anyone else. I don't know. It's very nice. So you could be a person who's very nice at the same time, but that's what this comfort and this is giving me. It's like you cleaned out something, and so now you feel comfortable. It's like almost you want other people to share that same energy, share that same comfort. The pink feels very mothering and nurturing, where it's like, oh, giving this out. I received it. It's like very opposite of like what we're thinking about. Even externally right now, we're talking about receive or release and then receive. Right, we're talking about at least letting something go and bringing it in. But this is almost talking about this mothering energy of the pink, how it's like you've received something. You've received not only maybe like a conflictive cycle or a strife filled cycle, but now you've also received comfort from it. Like you've received comfort from spirit and like out of what you've grown yourself to be. And because you've received that, now you want to release it out, give it to people, give people more comfort, give people with the broom like ways to help clean up themselves, clean up their relationships, clean up shit that's not good for them. And with the 1 and 1 of 11, it's like help them bring justice to stuff, help them bring balance, fairness, but then also help them just protect themselves. It feels like too. Like this whip here is like it's given Indiana Jones but sexy. So I mean I like it for sure. He would come in on that Knight of Wands for sure. And comfort. It's just such a contrasting energy because I don't know. The Knight of Wands mixed with comfort is like really weird. Knight of Wands is probably like on the fast journey, moving somewhere, passionate, and the comfort is very like almost still, but then like just there's very like marshmallow, um, soft blankets, like Earl Grey tea, water. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't match the Knight of Wands. Like Knight of Wands is probably not having a spa day, but the comfort is. So what's the connection? The only thing I think of right now is that the Knight of Wands would need a spa day. So you would need this comfort, and that's exactly why you should believe in it. Exactly why you shouldn't you should be believe it, and I was gonna say receive it, but I said believe, but those are almost the same word. You should believe it and receive it. That's internal, so it's like don't worry about what's happening on your external. It's just really focus on that you believe in discomfort and that you're receiving it from spirit. No one else, it's no one else's to receive or take. It's just yours. And I believe that's energy is here because maybe even with the broom, it's like very selfless, very I'll clean that up, I'll do that, I'll take on the group work type of energy. And it's just like this is almost like when comfort comes in, it's like, oh, no, you can. It's almost like you're like oh, spirit, you can pass it back. I'll continue to work. And it's just like no, spirit's like no, take care of yourself. It's not even, and it's literally needs and wants. It's like it's not even just that it's like spirit transcends that. It's spirit. We choose, and that's the dimensional part of it, and I can't get it. But we choose what specifically we need and what we want. There's like soda. Oh, I want it. Water. Oh, I need it. Like we don't choose what's a need, like what's a want. Like water is a need, but we do choose when we want to have it, when we pick it up, when we drink it, when we take a sip. On this level with this, it's like with the broom and with the comfort, it's like spirit says, yeah, this is something that you might want. It might feel good to you, babe, but also you do need it. You do need it, especially after this freaking like strife and conflict. It's like it's going to balance you out more than you know. And yeah, eventually you're going to want it, but you don't even realize how much you need this. So this is really good in the current. You're comfortable after some hard times. Hard times gonna make you Paramore. Specifically Haley Williams, but Paramore as a band, obviously they're both as important. She's a good example of that, and there are other people who are good examples of that too. You know, they have bands, and you know the whole band for sure. But then there's also like but it's not that they stick out because of their talent or whatever, blah blah. Is they stick out because they want to, and the other part of the group doesn't want to, and that's that choice right there. You know, there's that choice of like your role and whatnot. And she sticks out because she wants to. She's very vocal. She talks about what she cares about passionately on the inside. The other guys, if they care about something on the inside, you know, they're probably not going to talk about it. But that's just, you know, that's okay. That's their choice. And I think, you know, both are fine, but it's just really cool that shows up. So who's another example of that? Of like a person, Brendan Urie. He sticks out as an individual, but he literally also has a band. You can even think of 21 Pilots, or maybe not, because everyone knows them both pretty well. But sometimes I feel like that the one guy who's actually the lead singer, he more so vocalizes his insides rather than, you know what I mean? The people, it's like usually the people who stand out are the ones who usually tell you the depths of what's going on. It's because they're really giving you all that. That's very Scorpio. They're giving you all the deep, the info, everything from the bottom to the top. Other people are just giving you surface, and that's okay because it's not that they live surface level. They're just, you know, they're just giving you what they want to, and that's fine. That's why I say both are good, but like, I don't know, one of them stands out for the most part, at least physically, in my eyes. Gonna move forward in the future. Gonna make you my hard time. Anyways, this is definitely a late night tarot for sure. I'm gonna make sure that's clarified. That's how my speech feels. The Fox and Growth. And I apologize. I really don't know who in the hell wants to watch a 2-hour reading. I'm gonna have to be nicer to myself because I'm being really like annoying to myself. I'm like, who wants to freaking do this? And I'm getting discouraged. But it's okay. It's okay. I'll keep moving forward because whatnot. The Growth and the Fox. The way that Fox is looking at that plant, it's very interesting. I can never tell if he trusts it or if he doesn't, or he or she or they trust it or they don't. But Knight of Wands, the number 9, is the end of a cycle. It's completion, it's closing, but it's also very sovereign. So it's you closing out a cycle, but it's also a circle. So it's the balance of that is you're doing it, but the cycle is it might be it might involve more than just you, right? So I don't know. Them looking at that, I always used to think of it as like a community, whatnot, a home, like a group home. Maybe think of you have like an adopted energy to this home. So it's like you don't fit in, but you do fit in because they choose to let you fit in, right? But this growth here is like maybe you've grown, not even just grown beyond it, but look at how this isn't this. This is a group of flowers that are from the same root system, from the same plant, right? And you can see all 3 of these individual flowers on this. That's literally the band and the individual. This is my new Destiny Child and Beyonce energy card for sure. I love how I learned stupid things about this deck over time. Like the yellow one is my Eliminate Mouth Determination. The red one, Energy, is my Jimmy Neutron card. And yeah, that one, the pink one, Comfort, is now my Destiny Child, Beyonce energy, because that's what it gives me. But Growth here, I don't even know what I would name this one yet, because I'm just even learning what this feels like to me in general. But this is an individual plant, and that, in contrast, literally is important to see, because there's one part where there's a group, but there's one part there's an individual, not the energy coming out in the cards too, y'all. Literally stop. Where's the stop card? That's when I would like it to come out, because this is freaking hilarious. It's the individual versus the group, and not just the individual opposing the group, but them going off learning things, and then you know, spirituality, religion. It's like you can deepen it. You can learn about it by yourself, right? And the sun, and it gives you power. The sun can have that power and exist, right? But because the sun has planets around it, it adds more depth. There's a whole freaking solar system now. It's like it's a whole, and because it's the solar system, it's like why is this planet closer to this one? What does this one do to that one? How do they all intermix and intermingle? Like, what is the full story? It's like there's so much more to it, and it's just fine without it. But I don't know. It's because, like, I don't know. You see what I'm saying? It's an extra piece that's not to be expected, not to be predicted, not to be. You can't determine. I don't know how to say that. But let me move forward with Fox and the Growth. 9 of Wands in the deck is about great strength, usually fighting through perseverance as well. But if I read from the book, the Fox, what number is that? 14? Yeah, 14. Did we not say that 11 from the broom, and the 3 energy from comfort, and those 3 flowers gave me 14 energy, and then we do have the 14 energy that comes out, which is temperance in the tarot, which is what I was saying with the balance. But maybe there's some balance in this card too that I don't see yet. And how do we find balance? Is by looking at one extreme and then finding our way to the other. So let's see. Fox, red flags is what I wrote down. Why is that the only thing I wrote down? Okay, so let me think of extremes. Red flags. That's one extreme. The extreme of the red would be green. So green flags. Do I see any green flags? Is there anything about that? I see these leaves that you're going towards. I don't know. Red flags. Red flags, let me go ahead and start from the beginning. Red flags with growth. Okay, so there's the first I always see. So there are some negative aspects maybe to this growth. And the only way I see it currently is like you might be seeing some red flags around whatever's growing. Like whatever's growing might be, because this is growth as an archetype. So it's not like the growth of a lily or the growth of a chicken from an egg to a full adult. It's not like that specific. It's literally just like something that was once one small form and then got bigger or grew in volume, you know, grew in value and blah blah. So the fox is looking at something, you're looking at something, I don't know, some party is looking at something that has grown in value, and it's like maybe there's some red flags in it, like because of what it's producing, there might be red flags in it. But even then, like I was talking about attracting the I was talking about attracting the opposite, so there's why the negative comes out, because it's coming out to give you advice. If you do see any red flags, possibly to use that attracting its opposite energy. So it's like if you see red flags, just try to be green. Try to be, and that we talked about green was being relaxed, allowing it to unfold, and then, you know, moving along that way, not trying to force it or push it, right? Because if I talk about the colors before and after, yellow coming before green would be about duality and sensitivity and happiness. So it's about being happy, about using your feelings, and then duality in those feelings. Like you can feel so many things at once, you know. What does that make you? And what do you do with that, you know? So there'd be a lot of feelings you have around this with the fox before this growth too. But then after the growth, after the green comes blue. So blue is very transitionary, very death energy of like death and rebirth, transitional. It can be about communication. So even communicating what this transformation was like, and when you think and process it, it helps you. Like sometimes even like, you know, when you cry and then your head just feels like a little bit lighter. It's like releasing some of this information, thinking about it, processing it out. It's like and like it releases a physical weight off of you. And that's what we're talking about for sure. But this growth here. But what I was saying with that is before you might have some duality, some mixed feelings, a lot of feelings about it. You might sense things about whatever's going on in this fox card, right? Whatever's causing this growth, whatever's causing something to you know, to continue to have life to it. Something that has life that's causing it to become, you know, I would say, whatever's growing. What's G? E5, F6, G7? 7. So journey. In between. 7 is seeking, going out on the adventure, learning through that adventure, taking the process. You're not where you started, and you're not where you're at the destination. You're not either place yet, but you're in between. You're space between the letters, technically, you know? So with growth, it's not done. Something is not done growing, I feel. And then also at the same time, it's like, whatever you're looking at, this is that duality. It's like you're not where you started, but you're not where you're ending. It's like, so there's still more to process, I feel, with that for sure. So like, yeah, if you see red flags, and maybe just using it, just taking the time, letting it process. There's more to process. But there's growth here. There's more to process in this. Yeah, so even if it's giving you a negative vibe, even if it feels like it's untrustworthy, if you see red flags, so just really, allow it to unfold and see what really comes from it, because it could be good, it could be bad, but the fact of the matter is it's not done yet, so you don't know the full aspect of what's going on in the future, really. But 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 from those tarot, I'm telling you, it feels very positive for sure. Even with the Fox coming out, because Fox is not they in this deck. I like it because they actually have negative and positive cards. Technically, some are more fluid, but some of them are definitely negative, and some of them are definitely positive. Now you know me, I'll always say whatever I want, but I definitely feel like it has some structure here, like with the Fox too, for sure. I don't know why yet, but I'll figure it out. The 14, taking your time. Yeah, letting process time. That feels like temperance. But with the Fox, I didn't want to go. I wanted to go off the book, but red flags is all it's giving me. Flags are signals. I know that for sure. But they can also be like things of pride, to really display what you care about. It's a physical representation to display what you care about. Yeah, which is something that's internal. So it's an external display of something that's internal. Absolutely. So this growth is an external display. It's a physical thing to show you a visual of what is happening on the inside, to show you all of the work that's being done on the inside, all the roots that are growing, all the fact that you don't see it, but those roots are drinking water every day, pulling them up out the soil. Those roots are trying to extend themselves down, trying to move around in the freaking dirt, whereas like you can't see shit, you can't really move around in dirt, but they're trying. They're built for it. Break My Soul, Queen's remix by Beyonce. Love that song. You can do it. I've got to listen straight after this. But yeah. So it's like that is a direct reflection of what's happening underneath. So even with this, yeah. So red flags, even the last thing, I don't know. It's like one of the last things negative with that negative part is like if you do see red flags, it's like it's what you can be aware of, what you can know, it's just a direct reflection of what's happening underneath. So like if you see someone's growth that just feels like it's like not, like I don't know, because that's not really coming through as much. But just yeah, it's just not showing me negative or positive, and that makes sense because yellow and green are like the in between, like the grays. If they were black and white, the yellow and green are like the in betweens, the grays. So the yellow is just more so like the within, in between gray, the senses, the feelings, and green is the external, like grass, trees, stuff like that. That's the external display of it, and that's what we're talking about. But it's the external display of that in between sense. There's a lot of that going balance and in between. There's a lot going on with that. So you could be also in a phase where you're like getting connected with your high spirit, meditating, stuff like that, where you're just having to. That's why even like writing or documenting your experience is important, because not only would you want to remember it, but maybe also you want to delve into it to understand it, so that you can adjust your physical. It's like understanding it helps your physical move forward. It's like when you upgrade a computer, it's sort of like it move faster, it look better, stuff like that. It's just him looking at that flower, that growth. He's looking at it so intensely. So you could be focused on something that's growing, but you could also just be focused on. Because now I'm seeing like there's something that's growing here, right? And you're looking back at it, which means like it's not where you're going to, it's not where you're moving headed towards. And if you're on a journey destination, you're definitely headed somewhere, right? And you're heading away from something else. So that's another thing with the between energy. You're heading towards something, but you're heading away from something else. Releasing something, letting it go, but you're gaining something, in the future once you get to it. But just what I feel with that is like, and the flags part, because I have to go off what I see in the book, because I'm intending it to help. And so the flag, that representation I said a second ago, that physical representation of the internal, it's like, right, okay, and so it's exactly what Spirit was saying before with masculine and feminine, how like there's a balance, and then there's another balance of that balance, another balance of that freaking balance. So it's just what I see here is like, and gosh dang, I can't stand the universe sometimes, but I love it. I'm just kidding. When you release something, let it go physically, you let go of this idea, you're now physically receiving something as you go forward, right? Technically, like I was saying earlier, technically you're receiving something, or you're releasing something when you let go of this thing, and technically you are then receiving something in the future once you move towards it. But now if I'm thinking personal, more nuanced, then we're switching from masculine to feminine, and we reflect that, we flip flop it, we switch it, flip flop. That's another kinky energy. We flip it, we switch it, flip it, dip it, and switch it. Who wrote that? That better not be CR. I could be wrong. Anyways, I don't want to be wrong on more classic stuff, because then I'll get older people upset at me, and not like older people, but like people. I don't know. Anyways, people with passions are scary. People with passions your own age are scary. People with passions who are older than you, baby, that's frightening. But yeah. So I was saying with the fox and the thingy and the flower, yeah, flipping it and making it instead of releasing and receiving, you then switch it. So now you're receiving to release, right? So with this sense, it's like with this, it's almost like, and where would that be? I was gonna say receiving. You are receiving awareness, right? You're receiving awareness about the red flags, or you're just receiving like an upgrade in your intuition, or receiving like upgrades in your sensitivities and your feelings, so that you can see these flags, so that you can see the red and be in the green. You're receiving all this awareness and this extra heightened ability, so that you can then sort of release your physical hold on it, so that you can move forward. Because it's like then spirit's coming through with your internal, your mind, your body, your heart, and your soul. And it's like, all right, I'm gonna give you three mind, heart, and soul. I'm gonna give you three examples of why whatever over here is like not the coolest, not the best. It's like with the fox, it's almost like wolf in sheep's clothing, but almost like just look at that. You know how this has a individual root system, and this over here, like this could even be that community. This has its own root system. It's like for some reason it's whatever energy this is, it's for you, like on the surface. Like if you looked at these flowers in the garden, you'd be like, oh, those are in the same garden. Oh, those are next to each other, so they're probably the same. No, because they have different root systems. So something about that is like both of them come from a different place, and not even just physically. You know what I'm saying? It's just they both come from a different place. Are literally they come from a different place and are going to a different place, right? Root and destination is what I would say. They have different routes, different destinations, and so it's just like with that sense, you would think you would then know, or not know, but you would assume at least, or guess, or think, or at least I would, that if they have different routes and different destinations, they are probably going to have different looking paths. So it seems like maybe it's just like either you have a different path and it's nothing personal to this other energy, right? You have a different path, or at the same time, you have a different path and they have a path that is just like not conducive to good growth for you. It's conducive to good growth for them, but then that's when you have to delve into the difference between technical and personal, because if one person is lactose intolerant and the other person is not, are you going to give them both milk, and say, oh, well, it's milk, it helps everybody? No, personally, it doesn't help that one person. So it's like whatever this is, it doesn't help you personally. It might help someone else, and that's funny because it's just the energy with the religion. I did not plan to talk about religion today, nor did I plan to talk about the foxes and this flower of growth. So I promise you, I'm not like trying to fit something where it doesn't. It's how it feels. I'm not. I talk about religion a lot, so I'm just hoping it doesn't seem like I'm trying to fit it somewhere randomly. This is literally my intuition being stupid and then making somewhat of a sense at some point to me. But yeah, it's just like whatever this is, it's like it's good for someone, but it's not you personally. And at the same time, again, yeah, it's just like the overall message is I feel like there's a growth of a new path for you. If the Knight of Wands was striking out on that new field, that new path, it's like the Knight of Wands cleared the way, and now the fox can actually move through. So whatever aspect of you that was Knight of Wands that cleared the way of this and gave you comfort, it like left you just a nice space to it's clearing the way while you get to be comfortable and chill. It's like someone who's like happy burning down the field and getting the path cleared, and then someone who's very happy sitting in and doing the internal work of like really doing the self-care. You're doing both. I definitely feel that, but doing self-care and making sure the mind and the heart and the soul are feeling right, because when that happens, and the physical body just sort of reflects it very well. So it's like the physical body is almost like the tree, and then the mind, heart, and the soul are like the roots, and so when one is doing well, the other one's doing well too. In that sense, you can tell how the other one's doing by the other. Like if a tree looks like it's dying, then, or if a plant looks like it's dying, the roots are probably dying too. So if that could work like that too. But that's just me to explain it so that you understand it, so you can differentiate it. What I feel here personally is that I don't know why I laughed like that. It's probably because I'm freaking tired. But what I see from that personally is very positive. Because I see the broom and the fox, and it's almost funny because it's screaming to me. Because the broom and the fox are technically, they are technically negative cards in this deck. And I don't not every deck really has that. You can see them anyway, but they're technically in this deck, in this Oracle deck, they are negative cards. Like that one talks. I literally said this one talks about violence, right, and toxicity sometimes, and just like control, stuff like that. There's even an element of slavery in here with this whip. It's just like, I didn't want to say it the whole time. It's just like, yeah, but because like if I'm reaching into ancestry and shit like that, I definitely know half of me just does not like that. All of me, John Legend. I give my all to you. It just that it's not innately a toxic song. It's a very beautiful song, so much so. But now I'm getting a toxic feeling from it, where it's like maybe that was you gave your all of you to someone, and then they were just like, here you go. What did I say before? Half of me, right? So someone gave you half of them, and you gave your all. I don't like that. But now I'm also thinking, what's that song? Most Men, once again by Amber Mark. You gotta hear that song. If you've had an issue with this, with someone who's garbage or someone who's trash or someone who needs to be left in the past, which is what this fox is doing, go ahead and listen to that song. Seriously, because that's one of the most healing ones. I've been listening to it, and it's probably the one I've replayed the most. It's probably because it makes me angry. Like other songs make me feel good, so I'll listen to them enough. But I don't want to feel good like that. It's like I want to keep it balanced, but the anger, I've got to get it out. So I listened to that one a lot today. Knight of Wands feel like getting anger out. So maybe you like burned bridges, got really frustrated, and said some angry stuff. But it was with 11. It was justice for you. You deserve it, because it's like you've been treated wrongly. Or in any other sense, maybe like it could go another way. But I can't. If I don't say it initially, it's probably not. You have 10% remaining on your. Oh, shut up. On my phone and my watch. Damn, y'all. So 10. Using the positivity from that. Number 10 is important. But the growth and the fox, yeah, you're growing way far past whatever this environment is. You're upgrading, definitely. And Knight of Wands says it's a long time coming for sure. Even with Temperance and the number 9 of Wands says it's a long time coming, and it's well deserved. Man, I didn't pull out my overall energy beforehand, but if I were just open the deck, what would be the overall? Because I wanted to actually, I was supposed to, but I didn't do it. So maybe I was like, oh, we just got from this freaking long ass speech. So let me just get into the reading. But let me go ahead and see if there's anything. Since I didn't do that, I'll bounce it out. I'll see what you're probably moving into, and I'll just talk about it for 2 seconds. But like, let's see. That gave me quickie energy. Who in this collective has got something sexual going on? Because the energy has been sneaky, and now it's just like, oh, you see me? Now I'll just be here. It's really, really weird, but funny at the same time. I love it. Okay, so what is the collective moving towards? If I'm going to pull from the Lenormand, where it's like the fox is moving away, what you moving towards? Ooh, I said I was going to talk about it for 2 minutes, and look, we came out the number 2. I'm not really going to talk about it for 2 minutes, but that was just like a joke guesstimate. But like the clover and the moon, the clovers and the moon, which I can literally read from this little guidebook and be done in 2 seconds, so that's funny. Light, come back. Okay, the clovers and the moon. Very cool. 32 and 2. 32 and 2. So the 2, and there's a 2 backed up by a 3. So High Priestess, and then High Priestess backed up by an Empress. Or like in that sense, you're someone who's building the inside, who's building the inner structure, like the High Priestess, the inner workings, the intuition, the building that inside for the Empress, because 2 goes to 3. It's like yeah, the Empress is like the Empress, whoever is that exterior, like, cause the Empress is like masculine, feminine, that exterior, that very like I'm gonna sit with my legs open with my pregnant belly type of stuff. It's very just out there in a sense, out there rather than in there, And so whoever is more that energy, or if you're gonna be the energy, so you're gonna be an Empress, you're gonna be very much so giving birth to creations, but also very still, just like letting it all hang out, being you, living experiences externally, right? It seems like whatever that is initially, it's just like you are building the inner workings and creating stuff. But in the I don't know which way it goes, but it's just like whatever the switch is like you go from then just the two, like not the Empress energy. So maybe it's the two going to the three and the two. So it's like you're just the high priestess. You're just like building the inner workings. It feels very like the end. It's like if your skin, it's like if your muscles didn't have skin on top of them, so you're just like a walking like string of muscles like that. That's what the two feels like like a little bit like just tender, right? And then we got really like tender, soft, vulnerable, that kind of energy. But then the Empress comes in to back it up. So it's like then you build a structure for yourself. And how do you build that structure with the 32? Through your emotions, through the moon, through reflection, through phases, through deep inner looking, but mostly at your emotions and the moon, the heart, the push and pull. This is very blue energy we're talking about. So through deep transformation. And this transformation is brought on by feelings, brought on by phases through time and space. It's like what this has brought you to. New moon to full moon, what's this culminated as, what this has grown into. Like the full moon grows like a flower. It's really pretty. So like I don't know. It's like, and literally, what are these clovers? They're freaking flowers. So a lot of flower energy. Who is smoking? Invite me. Let me see. I said this on me. I said invite me. I told you Aries energy is coming out a lot today. It's because we're coming up on the season. We can feel it. I said freak all the other seasons. I just want mine. I'm just kidding. 30. Also, okay, I'll start with 32. The moon, recognition by reflection. So recognizing something because you reflected. Literally like looking into a mirror or like looking into. I even think sometimes our external like life, or that's not me. I don't think that. I think a lot of people think. I'm thinking of Victoria Justice. I think we all. That's so funny. I think we all do that where we recognize the world and even subconsciously, we live it and we sort of reflect on what we're in, but then also at the same time, the world reflects how we're feeling too. Like because we give it back out. It's a give and take. There's also love and emotional illumination. So emotional illumination is like emotions. Oh, that's funny because I guess naturally water is dark. That's freaky as hell actually to think about. But naturally water is like very dark on the inside, right? It's the fact that the sun comes in to light it up. But without the light, without the sun, the water ain't got no light. It's just literally dark. So that's freaky. I'm thinking about, ew, those fish are comfortable with that. I'm not gonna think about it too much, because I could think about a lot of shit. But so yeah, the moon is just emotional illumination. So what was once dark is now brighter again. So in with the moon, it's like, yeah, your emotions dark, not understood. You can't understand why you feel a certain way. Coming into the future, but something's coming to illumination. You're gonna understand certain feelings a lot better. You're gonna be able to, and with that blue energy of communication, you're gonna be able to communicate your feelings a lot better, which is really nice. But that was not the only thing. And 32 is a 5, which is a number of, conflict, strife, change. But something is changing in the way you communicate, the way you process your feelings, and the way you give it back out. So that's understood clearly. But also it's like, so that if you feel lighter because you're able to actually really get things out. I don't know. I'm gonna say it's like a full poop versus like a half poop. I don't even know. That's a really stupid example, and that's probably the one that's gonna lose like most folks. But it's like, when you get part of it out, and then like you have to keep going back to get the rest of it out, versus like if you can just get it all out in once, is what I mean. And I said that because it almost sounded like full moon versus like half moon or whatever the frig. And so like it correlated, it reflected, it related. Anyways, the last one we have that was 2, which is the clover, which is about luck and happiness. That's all it says, right? Yeah, luck and happiness. And it's okay that I wrote a couple things because you guys know I could pull like so much from just one word. So like I was hoping that it would work enough. And as my fucking watch dies. So let me do this before my fucking phone dies next. But luck and happiness. What am I looking for? The Prism Oracle. I can't even show it to you as the watch freaking died. Sorry, I hit the mic. But you have happiness at the bottom, and it's cool because you can't see it because of the freaking light. But that's okay because it's the same with this color vibe-ish. It's like the dark colors of the light you can't really see, but there is still light. That's what's cool about the Prism Oracle. It still shows you lightness and darkness because red and blue, we just talked about it, that red room is usually pretty dark, and water being blue is usually pretty dark as well. And I did not even realize that, but they are. Without light coming through, they don't have it to shine, and that makes sense. But they're the darkest, it seems. The red room is very dark, and the ocean, that's got to be dark as hell because it's deep too. It's not just that it's like dark, it's dark and it's deep. So there's dark. There's a depth to the darkness, which is energy here. And then with red, it's like there's no depth, but it's just like it's plain and it's like I don't know why that one is because it's shallow. I don't know why shallow would still make it dark. I'll think about that later. But maybe it's because I don't know. I don't know. Because I could word think that, but then I'll do that and then my camera will die, or phone will die, so whatever. Anyways, this is bringing in luck and happiness. You're coming through to luck and happiness. I love that because it's like fighting through your emotions, understanding them, communicating them, and then when you do, it's like you speak into the universe and the universe hears you. It's like, oh, this is what you're feeling for sure. It's almost like the universe can't be inside you. That's like maybe not. Maybe it's not true, but it's like the example I'm thinking of now is like maybe they can't really see what your feelings are. So like when you speak something, when you get it externally, that's how the universe hears you. It's like they can't really hear what you're thinking or feeling or whatever not. They can't understand it the way you do. So when you do it and you explain it to them better, it's like, oh, this is what you're feeling. And they're like, all right, yeah, let's rush you in some luck and happiness. Let's get you the best comfort because you need it. And even comfort looks like this luck and happiness clover. It looks like just a bunch of flowers blossoming. It's like you put the seed into the universe of, hey, I need this, and you're praying for it. No, you see it. Like I was writing. There's nowhere to be seen in the story. And even with the start of the color spectrum is red. So it's like oh, I can kind of see maybe it's there, but I really don't. I don't see it. I don't know. I can't really clearly see what's going on. I'm thinking flat with the color red, like very surface. Like even the way like you put pictures in a dark room and they're still flat. I don't know what it is about that. No depth, and that's why it's still dark. I don't know. Because it shows you everything that's on. I don't know. It shows you everything that's. If there's no depth, there's nothing to search for. So it shows you everything right as it is. So why is that still dark? How would that be dark? I don't care. I don't know right now. Because I don't want to miss anything for you guys. I'll just look quickly. With luck and happiness mixing with emotional illumination, it's like whatever you are emotionally illuminated on, whatever you understand about your feelings, I don't know. Again, it lightens you. Luck and happiness feels very nice. It brightens you and lightens you, and it makes it very nice. It's like it almost propels that red to keep moving through the process to get brighter and brighter. And all of a sudden, you got all the whole color spectrum. You can see a whole rainbow, and it's just like, oh crap! And that's what it is. It's like it brings you happiness, and it feels lucky, right? So